This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball, and their Instagram at Lone Wolf PB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community. This episode of PTG is brought to you by HK Army. HK is an industry leader in high-quality paintball gear, accessories, and lifestyle apparel that was founded in 2007. And we have a tremendous opportunity for you all to be geared up on every level with HK Army custom team gear. Whether you're on the paintball field or in the airsoft arena, take your game to the next level by using code PTG to get 50% off your custom gear design fee. And I don't think y'all heard me out there. That is 50% off, and you will be able to collaborate with a seasoned designer to create custom branded HK Army jerseys, long sleeves, t-shirts, pants, gloves, or headbands for your team with no minimum order quantity. Head on over to hkarmy.com/custom and use code PTG for 50% off on your team's custom gear design fee right now. Let's go. Thank you, HK Army, for everything you do in paintball, in airsoft, and in so many people's lives. We love you. Go check them out.
What's going on, PTG Nation? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This episode, we have such a banger for you guys. One of my longtime best friends, Evan Hawkins, lead singer, frontman of Through the Roots, one of the local reggae bands in San Diego that has absolutely blown up lately. They've toured with the likes of Rebelution, Iration. They go all over the country. They're absolutely massive, have amazing music. If you guys have heard my latest reel from World Cup, their song Fire Away is what I use because it is just absolutely dynamite. There's so many similarities to how my buddy Evan has built his band over time in paintball and how it relates to the team aspect of the game and how important it is to have everybody that has the same goals in mind. Really wanted to have Evan on because, you know, I've watched him chase this dream for a long time, and it reminds me so much of there's just a lot of parallels to chasing a professional paintball career. So having him on, this conversation was dynamite, and, without me talking anymore, we're going to hop in the show. So without further ado, we're going to hop in the show. I said hop in the show a lot, but we're going to hop in right now. Hop in.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
The man, the myth, the legend, Evan Hawkins, my brother, one of my best friends, longtime friend over here, and also a longtime fan of everything you've been doing. Happy to finally get you on the show. You're one of the first people that helped me set up this whole contraption we have here at PTG to be able to make sure our audio was in check, everything was in line, master producer, lead singer, and just a man of many talents. Thank you for joining us, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks so much for having me on this. You know, Marcelo, I've been watching you do this thing, and it's so fun to finally be a part of this and to have helped you, get it going. So
yeah.
So
I had no clue what I was doing, man. I'm trying to set up all these chords. I got this audio platform, like don't know what goes where. You looked at me like I was dumb. Like, bro, this is I could teach you how to like program a paintball gun, maybe, this isn't my thing.
Baby steps, but you're looking great and sounding great. So
yeah, we've come a long way, dude.
Yeah, we commend you, the PTG fam, the whole nation that tunes in. We are grateful for you for helping us on this journey. And it's amazing to hear, like, your journey is crazy. Being able to play with one of my favorite bands in the world, hands down, Rebelution. And then your music is crushing it, which is really fun to watch, like your evolution as everything that you've done with Through the Roots. It's crazy to see, how many similarities. We were talking about it before, but you having to hustle and strive and put pieces together to do the music. And then that's kind of what so many people are doing in paintball. So it's going to be fun to pick your brain on how you put it all together. And just so everybody knows, where are you tuning in from right now?
I'm in San Diego right now. So yeah, not far from Marcelo. I'm not sure where you're at. Where are you?
I'm in the desert. I'm in the desert out here. I'm in Arizona.
Oh, cool.
Right by Phoenix, in the Phoenix area.
Nice. Awesome.
Oh, you should have went out.
You're just there.
Yeah, shit. I
No.
should have told you.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
I know.
week.
I was
No.
thinking it. Yeah,
What?
I was thinking of going out to that show too.
So this is a good
man.
time to say, if you're not subscribed to the Through the Roots email
Yeah.
list, you need to get on it now.
Straight up. Straight up. So yeah, let the people know where
How
can
do
they
they do
follow Through the Roots.
Oh yeah, so you can follow us at that was a joke, but you know,
for real.
you can really go to @Through the Roots anywhere, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's basically the easiest. ThroughTheRoots.com, go there as well. So
Yeah, you guys are crushing it. It's amazing. You guys also have some projects that you're dropping. We'll break some news here in a little bit,
Cool.
some upcoming stuff, but we're just stoked to have you. And I don't know, have you ever, this is mostly like a paintball podcast, but have you ever played paintball, or is Marcelo taking you to tournaments, or you watch it on the TV, or how do you consume it?
I've asked Marcelo so many times to take me. It's pretty ridiculous that it has to come out here on this podcast, the paintball podcast. You'd think that like a guy like him would bring you out, No, I'm kidding.
bullshit.
I'm totally
This
kidding.
is
We've definitely talked about going. It's been a struggle. We're both really busy guys, so
Yeah,
but yeah, I have been before. I think I went a couple times. The final time that I went, and I will say that was kind of it for me in that format, was I went somewhere in Ramona, which is in California, and I got bunkered and shot in the back of the neck, and it was like so over the top, like it really didn't need to happen, and this guy just ruined me, and it kind of it turned it off for me for a minute, so I think I've had enough. I'd get back into it now.
What games did Marcelo have, or what like were you?
No, I wasn't there. I wasn't there. I wasn't there. No.
Influence. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't there. But that's an interesting thing. So I remember when I was a kid, one of my early days of playing, I was probably 10 years old, playing with my dad, my older brother, his kids, and we were at a field out in Oxnard, California. And this guy bunkered me same way, and he shot me in the neck. And I remember I had like a spider, little basic
Spider
gun.
TL.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly. Damn, see, my boy knows.
Hey.
And he had an angel. And at the time, this is 20 years ago. At the time, angels were like the bees.
Oh, that was
like the cool shit. He shoots me in the neck, and I lose my shit. I'm like 10 years old, and so it was so painful, so bad. But the guy felt so bad because he realized when he came around, he was a little kid. He still, he shot me. It is what it is. He let me play with his gun the next game because he felt so bad. And I remember having so much fun playing with that gun that I didn't even care about getting shot. But certainly, as a young kid, it can be a deterrent. So now, it's an interesting conversation that we have now. Should young kids play paintball the way that we play paintball? And I actually don't think so. So now they do this thing. It's called paintball soft. And you're 34 years old now, Evan, right?
Yeah.
Are you 33, 34, 35? Oh,
yeah, it doesn't leave the podcast, but yeah.
Damn. Yeah. It stays right here. Maybe you should play paintball soft. Like the paintballs, they don't hurt as much.
I'm not a soft guy. Come on, I could take the hard paintballs. We just got to the bunker.
You need air support. You needed some air support out there, man.
Yeah. Like his boy out there.
Yeah, got the full ass team.
Yeah. They're all decked out in all their gear, and you're just out there by yourself.
I'm out there.
Yeah. Out there.
Solo.
Well, yeah. Hopefully you and March can get out and play some proper ball, and he can, be your wingman out there, protect and serve, and help you out on the field.
Yeah, please do.
It would be that would actually be a really cool kind of video to make. We should bring the whole band out and have a private day, like just us, have our own field. I could totally set it up, and we could get some really cool, fun content from that.
That'd be sweet. And then we'll bring you back to the studio, and then you guys can put instruments on, and then we'll have you guys play us a song. And
I mean, I'm down. I have no shame in grabbing the guitar. I have your guitar that you gave me. It's still in the it's still in the room. I could go grab it. We'll play. I think I have played it on this show before, actually.
Yeah.
For some of the goats, we've jammed.
Yeah.
Not very well, but
No.
Well, I'm down. Yeah, that sounds like a great time.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It's good. It's a good team building experience too, because you have to communicate with one another. You have to trust each other. If you don't, there's like serious ramifications, like getting bunkered in the neck, which sucks.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
So like, it's something that I really advocate. Tyler and myself, we both do is for businesses to, if you want team building, go out and play paintball. And a lot of businesses do, and they love it. And they do it once a year. It's their team building activity. And because it is like, it's so intense, it's really action packed, a lot of adrenaline. You have to trust each other. You have to create a game plan and then follow that game plan, which I do want to get into conversation with you about, actually, as far as like performance goes. I imagine it's kind of similar. Like, you guys are choreographing an art out there, and in paintball, we set up these game plans, and it almost is like art. If a coach is really doing a good job, the way that the lineups are set and the way the play is set is almost like art, in a sense of, things have to complement one another in a certain direction. And then the very next point, it goes in a different direction. And the art is how you manipulate those pieces. And everybody has to be in sync. And if somebody's a little bit off, the whole play falls apart. And actually, I think in a performance, I've had this conversation with you many times. We've been frustrated. I'll be at your show and I'm like, dude, that was amazing. It was incredible. And you're like, no, this was wrong. That was wrong. This guy was out of tune. That guy was, I messed up this. And I'm like, damn, I'm a layman. I don't know much about music at all. I just consume it, I just enjoy it. So I only know if I like it or don't like it. I'm like, oh, well, it was pretty good. But like, to see how hypercritical you are over every step of the way with the team, the team being your bandmates, is pretty incredible. Like it shows the amount of preparation that goes into having one of these productions, one of these shows that you guys have, that all artists have. Right. So it's not, you're not just getting up there and performing. There's a lot of practice. There's a lot of work that goes into these final pieces.
Definitely. Yeah, it's like you said, I think saying it's an art, that whole planning stage of it is the most important part. It's all the prep before you actually get on the stage, because there's so much happening behind the scenes. I mean, even in our level, and then you're looking at like the Beyonce level, and that's a whole nother tier, but even at our level, playing these rooms, we have talkbacks on stage, and we're actually able to like communicate with each other without the crowd even knowing. There's somebody who has a talkback mic who can actually talk to us on stage, one of the band members, or wow. You'll put one in the middle of the stage, and you'll notice at some shows, like, a musician might go over to that and they'll talk into it. You obviously can't hear them, but they're communicating with the band or the playback person or the monitor engineer or something. So there's like intricate little details that, you guys might not see. And those are the most important parts, where if somebody's having an issue, you got to call an audible and do something different, or I need to speak to the crowd and keep them engaged while somebody's replacing a string or fixing a drum head or whatever it is, So yeah, it's definitely you gotta strategize, work together, and kind of get through those situations. Same way you guys are pressured out there with certain things that happen. So I definitely see that parallel there for sure.
Yeah, you got to think on your toes at a moment's notice. Something happens, you got to be ready.
Yep.
Yeah. So like, how much time do you guys put into preparing a set? What goes into preparing a set and figuring out like what songs are going to go first, how you're going to perform them, what type of, choreographing, like dance movements, stuff like that. What does that look like?
So I think first and foremost, I mean, you're even before that stage. You're in the songwriting stage, and they can even it can be a song where you're wanting to do this big production around this song, or you see this vision and you see all these other elements that are going to make this song really hit. And that could be from visuals behind you on a screen. That could be from the light, what the lighting's going to do, what venues you're going to be playing this song in. Sometimes it comes down to those little details from the jump, and you're like, well, I think this we need a song like this because this is what's missing from our set. So we can like trail it back all the way to that starting point and the origin of the song. But I would say when it comes to like the actual performance, we're getting those songs to figure out like, okay, are we able to play this song the way that it was recorded? Do we want to do that? You know, do we want to give these people that same experience as when they're listening to this song in their car, and it's, you know, it's that feeling that you get? Or do we want to, you know, show our musicianship and present this song in a new light and make it interesting? I think there's kind of several different types of fans that would prefer the other, you know. But really, we just like to do what, you know, we think is best for the song, what serves the song most. And ultimately, I mean, at the end of the day, like, we have to be having fun. So there's like this like balance of what we want to do versus what we think the fans want to see. So we got to respect both. But yeah, there's the rehearsal, there's getting all of the material from those songs. If you do want to make those songs sound recording, you need like the stems. And then we utilize this technology, which is like a playback system, where if you don't have, you know, so many different musicians on stage, you can actually supplement them by playing tracks that you've already recorded. So we lean on that heavily, because we do like to present these songs in a way where they're like you experience them in your car. So with that, you know, we're getting used to playing along with those tracks or adding those elements in. And you know, after you get kind of the performance down pat, and you know what you're doing, then you go to like your lighting person, you know, and you're having that conversation with them, your video person, and we're using technology that's kind of synchronizing all of that together too. So, I mean, some of these tours that we do, like, for instance, we're going to start touring again in the probably in the spring. And with that being said, like, we're going to be using, you know, these next 3 months to prep all of that and kind of get our set lined up for that time. So they have musical directors. We kind of play the role of the musical director. Calvin being a producer, he's our drummer, and Brady as well. We kind of work together, and Cam, our guitar player. We're all producers, so we all share, you know, different ideas and make different parts, and we'll be able to bring those parts together and trust each other that you know, we can be critical and make those parts cohesive, and give the feedback that we need, so that like they all fit together properly, you know, and it's like us, and it's going to be this performance that we're all stoked to play, because that's the most important part. You know, if the fans are seeing that you're not all gelling together, then it's not a show, you know. So
chemistry is incredibly important.
The chemistry, yeah, is crucial. And you have guys that are, you know, it is in the production side, like the pre-production side, but then there's a chemistry that's like on stage, you know. So it's like once those meet and marry together, you have like this perfect blend, and that's really what makes a great performance. Everybody being on the same page and really like working towards the same vision, you know. We're all in this for the same like end goal, and that's the most important part, even from songwriting. You know, it's like, what are we doing here, you know?
Sounds just like a paintball team, man.
Yeah,
Honestly, it really does. It's like you have to have a goal, and everybody has to want the same goal. You know, there's a lot of teams, and I'm sure there's a lot of bands that it's the same thing. Like, maybe some bands just want to get together and have fun and play music together. That's all they want to do. They want to enjoy it. They want to just have fun, play music together. If they can book a couple shows, cool. If not, cool. And then other bands, they want to go to the fucking moon. They want to play a show on the fucking moon. Right. And they want every single person in that band wants to be the best. Every single person in that band wants to be the best bassist, the best guitarist, the best vocalist, right? Best saxophonist, the whole thing. That's what they want to do. Right. But if you have a band that half of them want to go to the moon and the other half just want to get together and have fun, you're not going to have a successful band in any capacity. You could have a successful band that just wants to have fun, and you could have a successful band that wants to go to the moon, but they don't go together. And it's the same thing in paintball, you know, and we have players all the time that reach out and they're like, hey, what should I do? What should I leave my friends? I'm with a group that I really care about. We came up playing together, but I want to be the best. Like, I want to turn pro. I'm like, well, most important thing is being on a team where you guys all agree on the same goal. If you're not in a situation where the goal is the same, then it makes no sense. You're fighting each other from Jump Street, you know? So I think that's an interesting parallel, you know, because it certainly is how paintball goes. If you're in a situation where, you know, half of you want to really treat this like it's your craft and try to be the best and see what limits you can push, but the other half just want to show up and have fun and you know, kind of ride their laurels and or rest on their laurels, I should say, then it's not going to work. Like, neither side is going to be happy, because one side's going to be too pushy and the other side's going to be too passive. You know?
Yeah, it's that.
Yeah.
I think that all boils down to really that like developmental stage, like, or the process. I mean, like from inception and starting, to do this sport, or to start a band when you're,
Mhm.
19 years old. It's a much
Mhm.
different mindset than, down the road when you've had all this
Totally.
experience, and your goals change, So
Yours
uh,
haven't though. See, and that's the thing. Like when did I meet you? I mean, I think we were like 18, maybe I didn't realize you were 2 years older than me. I thought you were a year older than me. You're an old man, bro. But it was like 18 and 20, something like that. And your goals have been that from day one. And I think that's why you've actually gone through a few iterations. I think it's just, it's you and Brady are the originals from
mhm,
back in the day.
right.
Shout out to Brady. Brady's one of the greatest humans of all time. Absolutely love that guy. Just a phenomenal human being. But from day one, your goals were very clear. This is what you wanted to do, and you were willing to sacrifice everything for it. And you did sacrifice a lot for it. I do want to, in a little bit, we'll get into like exactly what you had to sacrifice and the different things that you would piece together so that you could pursue music. But maybe some other people that wasn't always their goal, right? And I think you've had to build your team around the goal that you have had from day one. You've never wavered in that. I've known you again. It's been like 10, 15 years. You've never wavered in that,
Right.
not even close. So it's people are just different, period. And it's in all sports, all professions. People are just different. It's okay if you want to show up and just have fun. If you just enjoy doing something, that's fine. But again, you're not going to coincide with another person that's trying to be the best at something, and that's totally okay. It's fine. But you have to recognize that. So like at what point, did you kind of recognize that? And if you did even, to where you had to maybe take a stand with the band and say, we're moving in a different direction because this is what I want to do. Cause I hear what you're saying with, at 19, you might have this goal, but then you get good and it's another. No, like from day one, knowing that was actually kind of why we became friends when we met. We had, for all the listeners, Evan and I had a lot of mutual friends and we'd kind of hear about each other, but we never knew each other. And then I went to one of his shows. I was a huge fan of their music, local San Diego reggae band. I was a huge fan of his music, went to one of his shows down in Pacific Beach and we met and we just hit it off, cause like the intention was so similar of, hey, I'm doing this thing and chances are very slim that I could be the best at it, but I'm going for it, and it was like, this is what I want to do. And I'm just going for it. All the sacrifice, like I'm doing it, And so that was kind of what we connected on. That was your intention from the very beginning. It was your mindset. All of your actions added up to that. You never wavered. Nothing got in the way. And that's a unique mindset. It's the type of mindset that someone like Kobe Bryant had, Michael Jordan, the elites, Tiger Woods. It's like the elites in whatever they do, you really can relate it to sports. You can relate business to sports, music for sure. But that's
Mhm.
the mindset that you've always had. So how did you navigate not having those people around you early on?
I think it comes to the type of like, it comes from that mindset. I think that mindset has to kind of be somewhat instilled in you. I think like you have to be somewhat of a driven individual, to have that like desire and want to do the best at like something, like no matter what it is, I mean, you're a competitive guy, like it doesn't matter if we're playing a card game or if you're playing paintball, you're trying to win.
Why you got to bring the card game up, bro?
I mean,
Why you got to bring that up?
hey, we're in close quarters here. But yeah, I mean, I think it comes from that. You want to do your best.
That
Like,
was a low blow.
and no, I mean, it's true. You got it.
All right, what happened at the damn card game? What the hell happened?
Oh no,
What's the name of it? Cover your assets.
yeah, great game. Marcelo introduced me, and man, I've been playing it ever since. So much so that now my girlfriend's dad will not play the game anymore. It's such a heated game. Like, I mean, it's competitive. So, it just, you got to want to win.
Follow it. Cover Your Assets is an amazing game. If you want to go find like a fun game to play during the holidays. First edition. Yeah. All the add-ons were kind of lame. But we got way too competitive one of the nights for sure.
Oh yeah. It was around the holidays too. It's funny. You got your tree up, cause it's reminding of that night.
Yeah. Love my tree.
Where's that photo from that night?
I don't know. I will share it right now if you could find it. If you can find it and send it to me, I'll share it. So maybe like text Brittany or something. Maybe
I will. That'd be great. That's great. Man, but I think it's funny because you said at what point did you realize that? I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, like when you first started the sport, you were just excited about the idea of playing the game, And I think when I was like picking up a guitar and learning on one string, like self-taught, like I was like, this is really cool. I wanted to learn at my own pace. Like my dad would try to teach me how to play guitar, but I think it was like, that was like the love for it, wanting to start the band. That was, a thing that was originated from just being interested in kind of like the way that the scene was kind of presenting itself and building the California reggae scene and the artists that were, kind of coming out of that were being developed really and developing a new kind of sound. And I was inspired by them to want to try to learn and do, my own interpretation of that music. But it was a friend who passed away in a drunk driving accident, rest in peace, Charles, who really inspired me to take my skills that I had learned over the years and put them into like, put them to work really, like, hey, you have a good voice, like you should do something with it. And so I'm so grateful that he gave me that, that advice, because I don't know that I would have really given myself that chance. So yeah, I think like once I started getting familiar with playing and getting in front of people, I was seeing this environment that was created by the music, and I think that's really what gave me the desire to really like be the best version that I could be, was because I wanted to be able to create these environments for people to like escape and get away, whether it's a sad song, a happy song, a hype song, whatever. It's like, you're creating this environment where it's kind of like an escape zone, a free space, for people to be able to, feel good, relax, and get away from the craziness. So that's really what inspired me. I had a festival that we played in 2009, I believe. It was a West Beach Music Festival, and the first real big stage that we played on in front of like, it was like 8,000 people or something. And we're like 19, 20, 20 years old and just kind of like getting into it. And we're super green, and we had the opportunity to play that festival and seeing how people reacted. I think that's really like, I was watching the other bands and seeing how much more professional they were, and all the different things that they had that like I desired to have as far as the production goes, to create this really awesome big show. And so once I saw that and I saw that it was possible, it was just like, I really wanted to do that, So
Yeah.
I think it's like that it's that, wanting to see how far you can really get, but also it's like, now you're seeing how you're affecting people. I've had fans come up to me and tell me like, hey, like these lyrics on my arm are from your song. Like I wrote my daughter a letter. I was about to, kill myself, and I heard your song, and that song completely saved my life. And I just wanted to thank you for that. It's like, whoa, like at that point, it's like my job's done, like I don't even need to go on, like that. I never thought that I never thought that I would ever get to that point, like I was never desiring to do that. It was just like, it totally, hit me and Brady out of left field and Taylor, when we saw that. It was in Denver, Colorado. And at that point, it was like, this is bigger than us, this is for other people. And like, let's see how big we can get this thing. Let's see how far we can get our music out there. Whether, like I said, it's a song that's going to save someone's life, or it's a song that, might just give somebody that escape from terrible situation that they're with, whatever it is, or maybe it's just for pure joy. But seeing how big we can get, how big of a stage we can play on, whether it's the moon or whether it's, a festival, Coachella,
Just so you know, our goal is to do a podcast from the moon one day. I don't know how I'm going to overcome my fear of heights and get in a rocket ship and do that, but that is a goal of PTG. I think maybe we're going to be 90 years old and I don't care anymore.
And
it's time. But our goal is to one day do a podcast from the moon. I assume in like 10, 20 years, space travel is going to be pretty incredible, but I honestly don't want to lighten the mood here after what you just spoke on, because it's actually incredibly powerful. And the power of music is so incredible in that way. I mean, it's had that effect on me. Music literally makes me cry, and I enjoy it. It makes me cry in a way that's both good and bad. I listen to certain songs and I know that they attach to me emotionally in a certain way and bring me to a certain place that I'm able to use that as either fuel or reflection or whatever I need it to be. And there's almost nothing that's more powerful than music. It's pretty incredible how music, it transcends languages. Music is something that you don't even really need to always understand the lyrics. You can almost feel the emotion from the song, and you can feel the tune. And it's, in sports, it's something all athletes use. I use music as a tool all the time. There's songs that remind me of my father. There's songs that have inspired me to do great things. There's songs that make me really reflect on, like, whoa, maybe I need to do this better, or, oh my God, that's a thing that's going on in the world. Music it's unbelievable. It's a medicine. I really believe that it really is a medicine. And to hear that story that somebody, shared that with you is really, really amazing, and it is the effect that you can have through writing. And something I've always appreciated about you is you understand that responsibility. And so you write your lyrics and your music with a lot of integrity, and you make sure that it's pretty clean for the most part. It's not, there's some music out there that I don't agree with, but you know what? Maybe it affects other people in a way that is good. I don't know. But there's a lot of music that I don't agree with, and because I understand how powerful it is. And those words they resonate with people, and people look up to musicians. We say the same thing in paintball. There's, we're professional athletes that people within the industry, and fans of paintball, however big or small that may be, they look up to us, and they look to us as pro players to kind of set an example. And so if we don't treat that responsibility with a great deal of pride, then you can misguide a lot of people. You really can, because whether you understand it or not, in paintball, we're role models to people because of what we do. Even though it's paintball, it's a silly game that we play, as all sports are at one point in their inception, right? And even professional athletes in basketball, football, whatever it is, I get frustrated when I'm like, you don't understand your responsibility as a professional athlete. It's not just, oh, I just want to play ball. No, you get paid millions of dollars to play this sport. That comes with a very important responsibility to lead by example, to be a good role model for people, to be somebody that people can look to and say, okay, this is how I can become a better person. To me, that is like one of the greatest responsibilities of any professional athlete, and also musician or celebrity. Anybody that has been given the fortune, I don't mean monetarily, the fortune of notoriety, recognition, fame, in any capacity, and sure, money. I think it comes with a great responsibility that you have to really appreciate and understand and do the right thing with. And you've always done that. And that's why I really do appreciate your music. I appreciate the way that you perform, the way you go about yourself, the way you carry yourself. Because stuff like that is real, and it does happen. And that is what more of an incredible way to leave your mark on society than if you can help people through dark times
I
in any
agree.
capacity.
I agree, man. It's funny because it's like there's a lot of pressure along with that. It's a balancing act because we're artists, and
Totally.
we're creating art that might be like, some people are original art, some people are creating very realistic stuff. It's like, it's all it's all art, it's all expression. So it's hard to judge that and say, like, I agree with you, the responsibility there. Because I think there are, for instance, like some super gnarly rappers out there that, rap about crazy stuff that happens in streets and all that kind of stuff, but then in the public eye, they're carrying themselves with a certain level of professionalism, so I think that's the point, is like there's like this balance, where you have to understand that it is art at the end of the day, because people can get kind of tied up in that a little bit,
Yeah.
But
I'll
man,
say this. I think there's a difference, and it's where art comes in. I think there's a difference between rapping about what happens in the street. I think there's a very creative and artistic way to do that, and some artists nail it, and that's why they fucking absolutely crush it. I think there's a difference between that and the promotion of very degenerate things. And I'm not talking about, I'm not a square. I'm not talking about the basic stuff. I'm talking about, there's some music where the lyrics are so atrocious that promote things that are so nonsensical that it's like, oh man, what are you doing? Even if this was your experience, like you didn't, this isn't an art. This is more of a like rhetoric that is, it's hate speech in a way. actually, and so I guess that's what I'm referring to. And it's a small subset of music that I've listened to, where I'm like, that just ain't it. Fuck, whether it's your experience or not, you didn't express your experience in an artistic way. It's in a hateful way.
Well, I
And
think it's still art at the end of the day, but I will say that it's just, it's subjective, I think, honestly, because there's a demographic that does listen to that, whether or not it is their reality or it isn't. I think, yeah, you want to
there's
rise
definitely
above
people
that
that listen to it.
standard. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. There's
But I
definitely
mean,
people that listen to it.
hardcore rock music, death metal, like that is that, and I'm not trying to turn away anybody. Like there's to each their own. Like you don't need to be about
Yeah.
something and listen to something. You might like the sound of it, but you're not necessarily like living those lyrics out or whatever it is. I mean, there's so many songs that have subliminal message. You'll never know. It's art. You know what I mean? So it's a rocky road to dabble in that.
It's a rocky road for sure.
But
I stand on my throne though of certain music. I'm like, it's just not it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to censor it, but I'm like, damn, I'm just bummed you put that out. That sucks that you put that out in the world.
Yeah.
Like, that fucking sucks.
Evan,
because there's people that are like not super bright that listen to that and go, oh, this is what I need to do. And that's the problem. Unfortunately,
it is the problem, but you got to think back, dude. Like some of these people don't have the educational system. We could go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah,
you know what
totally.
I mean?
I'm with you.
Like what where they are really. Like it's tough, man. It's there's a lot of things to consider. So
no, you're right.
What you said it perfectly. It is subjective. It's no different to me than walking into an art museum and looking at all the different pieces of art. Some of them are going to make me go, "Oh, geez," or some are going to be like, whoa, that's profound, and I think what you're doing with your project Through the Roots is profound. I think it's like something that resonates on a frequency level that I'm sure you guys are kind of tactfully aware of as well. And we can kind of dive down that rabbit hole of megahertz and frequencies and what it does on a cellular level and how you can really move people through music like we've all been talking about. But what you guys are doing is spectacular because it's this easy listening frequency, that makes you feel really good. It's got the Cali vibes, the whole thing going. And I am curious, do you guys what is your creative process and how does it work around setting the tone and intention with just frequencies? And as a music producer, how do you navigate that? I know you obviously, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, in classifying the kind of music. It's really hard to do, I'm sure, but it's like a reggae, rock, pop kind of music, right?
Yeah, we're kind of leaning a little out of the like. I think that was kind of more in our younger days. It was like we're like a California reggae rock band. But we've kind of started to find, I think, the pop influence definitely, the reggae always, and then having a little bit of a hip hop influence there, just from the sounds that we're incorporating and some of the flows and cadences and that kind of this style. And sounds as well. I think keeping it modern is always something that for me is exciting to hear, something new you haven't heard before, some sound that you're like, whoa, what is that? And you might not even know what it's doing to you. It might be something that's doing to you, but you don't even know you're looking for that, and it's like, what's making, so I think leaning on the electronic side a little bit is definitely an influence for us. So, but yeah, it's funny that we're having this conversation.
I think there's a treasure trove in there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I really do. And that's been honestly, that's the most exciting part, is how to make all of those fit together to create something that is exciting and sounds really good. I think songs, the inspiration that I think they're gifts that you get, I think you can work hard at it, but you can be the best, at something. And sometimes you're just the universe might not be giving it to you at that certain moment, and you're in a lull. I think you develop strategies to kind of get yourself out of that faster, but it happens to everybody. And I think we have to appreciate those gifts that we get, whether it's that inspiration, whether it's that like that day that you get when you're a little bit more interested in getting in the studio, or whether it's that day that you're a little bit more, interested in waking up early to go work out, for instance, for you guys to like get yourself to that next, that next step, prepare yourself to be in shape on the field. Like it's that same thing. So I think like for me, it's, I definitely developed the certain atmosphere that I want to be in when I'm like writing. What time of day for me, I really like to write late night and early in the mornings. It's like it's the mornings. There's something about the mornings for me that's like definitely the opposite. Like
I'll tell you what it is
of the artists.
Dude, the frequencies are just not as pitched. It seems like, at certain times you can just feel when everyone's asleep, and it's
the
like
energy
clean.
is a little more open. Yeah. You're a little bit more roam, like nighttime, or just like all that, like everything's coming down, winding down for the day. And like, there's a different kind of energy in the morning. It's like, you're up before the buzz, so I think for me, it's like a peaceful time. I have a lot of clarity in those moments. And, just annoys my girlfriend, a lot that I'm up early, but no, for me, it's like, that's a great time. But it's very important to be in your right zone, in your right atmosphere for really putting that work in. And, whether it's learning new stuff, learning new technology, all of that for me happens in the morning. Writing, you're kind of, if you're writing with other people, I think, you're dependent on their schedules and that common time. But that's something that has been a huge like unlock for me, is songwriting with other people. I think there's a lot of stuff that like you can get caught up in wanting to like nail this like this certain topic, or you want to make a song that's like this song, or you want to make a song that is going to do this for people. Sometimes it's a bit forced, and you got to like know when to pivot and go to something that's just like coming more easily, whether you decide to put that song out and it ends up being a great song, or it gets shelved. It's an exercise. And it might be great for somebody else. I encourage artists not to hold on to those songs to, their gifts, you know what I'm saying? Like it could be for somebody else. So that's something that I'm getting more familiar with too. But yeah, I think it's the songwriting, being able to not take it so seriously, treasure those moments when you get that inspiration to make a really moving song. But just at the end of the day, like you really got to have fun with it. And I'm such a perfectionist that I'm just now at this stage, in my career, being able to like let go a little bit and kind of loosen up and let other influences come in to like have that fun. And be able to lean on your team to be able to say, this is a little outside of where you need to be, And I think that kind of like ties things in here where, the team's crucial to keep you in that lane, like give you the freedom and be down to let you kind of roam and find your pocket, which makes you feel comfortable on stage, which makes you able to connect with that certain individual in the crowd or the masses, so.
Dude, I want to touch on that. That's actually a dynamite what you just said, because I'm experiencing the same thing in my paintball career right now. And I know, again, knowing you for 10 plus years, how you like to micromanage, because you have a very, but again, you're saying like not so much anymore.
No, I know I do.
Yeah, totally. But it's like, but it's because you put in the time, you put in the work, you put in the effort. Like you're so sure of your ideas because they are tried and true, and not without. It's like, as a famous quote from Kobe, he's like, I'm not passing you the ball when I show up to the gym and I see what time you show up. I see when you leave. Like I'm there before you, I'm there after you. I see the shots you made in the gym. Like I'm taking the shot. So it's the same thing with you. It's how you've always been. But, same thing with me. It's how I've always been in paintball, where I'm like, no, this is the right way to play. This is the right way to play. And you can't tell me otherwise. Cause like I watch the film, I see the other team, but I've learned, especially in the last couple seasons, which is really special because our team has had a ton of success. A lot of the magic from our success recently has been really malleable and being really flexible and kind of like elastic and saying like, well, this is what I've always thought is to be true, but like, what if we do it this way? And we all agree on doing it this way, and it's different and it's unique. And then it works. And then we win a tournament. No, it's the opposite. Like we've had this. And again, my team is full of a lot of high level players. So it's not like it would be different than when I'm coaching. When I'm coaching, I'm very absolute. When I'm coaching divisional teams, it's very absolute. I want a little bit of feedback from the players because I still need to know what they're comfortable with, what they're seeing. I need some feedback. But as far as like how we're going to play and strategy, it's very absolute. Yeah, I'm like, no, this is what we're doing, and we're gonna do this, and it's gonna work, and it has worked. But at the top level, I have a team full of other professionals that are more experienced than me, as experienced as me, almost as all in the same range. I've learned to say, okay, well, let's take this idea that I don't agree with, but let's take it and see how we can make that work. And that flexibility has turned it into some amazing things. And all of our players are kind of doing that right now, where it's like, we all kind of are so sure on something, but we've learned to be like, okay, someone has an idea. You're on this team for a reason. You're here for a reason. You obviously have a valid input. So let's hear it. Okay.
Right.
Let's take that. And okay, what if we do this a little bit? And we build off of it. And it's been a huge component to Dynasty's success, our team's success in the last couple seasons, which is so new to me because, again, I've always been so, I'm like, no, like nobody watches more than I watch. Nobody does this more. That was my mindset. I don't know if it's true, but it's my mindset, right? I'm like, that's my mindset. So like, this is the way it's got to be. But one of the greatest, I think, breakthroughs that I've had is being like, it might not be that way. You think it's going to be that way, but it might not be. And in that might not, you allow your mind to kind of explore these different possibilities and do things that actually have not been done yet, which is pretty incredible. It's really special. And so I love to hear that you kind of are in a similar phase in a sense of being more flexible and malleable in that kind of thinking. Or maybe I heard it wrong because
no, I went like this because I was saying like, it's more oftentimes that you've had in your past of seeing it not work out. And you're like, no,
right.
I'm not making that mistake again, So I'm
fair,
going to
fair. Yeah.
I was just trying to say like that's
totally.
what I was trying to say there. But yeah, man, it's huge to be able to like, whether it's delegating or whether it's, just, utilizing everybody's strengths.
Trusting the people around you.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. It takes time to get there,
yes.
and it's part of that, that developmental stage,
100%. You have to earn that. Everybody around you, you have to earn that together. That's peak performance. That's when you're Green Day. You're one of the elite, it's just, and I use Green Day. I don't know why I say it, but I feel like they're one of the best bands to perform together of all time, right? Like, yeah, that's them, right? That's when you're them, is when like everybody is just so elite at their specific thing that you feed off of each other and you grow together. Again, like if I were to leave my team and go to one of the bottom 10 teams in the league, I wouldn't be like, oh, let's hear what you have to say. I'm like, no, dude, listen, this is how we're going to do it. Right. You have to earn that type of respect. And it's with anything. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but it just is what it is. There's like levels to experience. Right. There's levels to experience and you have to earn that. But once you earn that and you're with a group of people that you can feed off of and you believe in and you trust, that's when the special stuff happens. That's when you really start to get to a place where you create. And that's why I've been so excited to see it finally seems like you have that team around you that you believe in, right? Which is so important. You have to believe in them.
Yeah, it's trusting in each other. Once you guys trust in each other, it's like it's on. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about it. They got you. And it's funny because I forgot his name again, and I wrote it down. But it might be your teammate,
Archie Montemayor.
Yeah. So I watched your guys' podcast, and I was inspired by some of this there, and I I was just in agreement with a lot of what he had to say too. And you guys had some awesome stuff you talked about, but it was that trusting each other, your team's got you, it takes a while to get to that point. And like you said, once you do, it's on. But yeah, I think being able to like focus, like let your hands off a little bit and focus on something else or a different area, and knowing that you can trust allows you to be better. And if something fails, it's a lesson, and you're not going to make that mistake again. So,
absolutely.
And you can explain to that person too, like, hey, I wanted to do X, Y, and Z in this situation when I saw that this, particular situation happened, but I wanted to see how you did this. this is what's worked best for me, like we can't be making that mistake again, and it's being able to take that criticism too. It's huge. Like I have not been able to do that for a long time. And it's just part of that maturing and realizing that criticism is like one of the most crucial parts of making you grow. So
yeah, it means you care. That's care, that's
Right.
care for a better version, for more. And you guys are hungry, obviously. And I assimilate you guys doing a show to like a tournament for us,
Yeah, same.
You guys have
Yeah.
this prep time. You guys are practicing, you're getting ready, you're dialing in all the details. What does that look like for the next few months? And if you have some news on, some stuff going on or some shows that are upcoming, we would love to support you. And if you tag us in anything on IG, we'll repost it on our stuff for you as well. Make sure we pump the numbers up and get people to the shows,
Awesome, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have some new stuff that we're putting out here soon. We have some new singles that we've released. We released one song, Fire Away, recently that Marcel actually used for one of his recap videos. Love the song. I love the way it came together.
Dude, it came together so well. Go ahead and finish here, and I'm gonna share that clip on the, if you don't mind, I'm gonna share that clip on here after you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. So we wrote that song in Miami, wrote this crazy songwriter, and his name's Chief. He's this like
Chief.
big dude with a mullet, and he's just like high energy and like just doesn't stop pacing around the room. And yeah, like he just hopped on the mic and recorded a verse and wrote a good majority of the hook and like some of the other parts in the song. But it's just like being able to take those gifts and those moments of like the inspiration that comes from the beat that Justin and Calvin and Brady had originally made, and being able to like take that energy and like figure out, okay, what's the vibe for this energy, So we were just producing in this room. We rented it to Airbnb, and it was in the middle of a tour, and we had this writing camp. We had producers and songwriters come in for 4 days in Miami. And so put that song together. I was writing verses, tweaking his verses. He was tweaking mine. It was like this very like trade-off situation. And then we had this like scratch vocal that he recorded, so that, sometimes there's a certain style that a songwriter does that like you definitely want to capture that energy the same way, the delivery the same way. So you'll have like the songwriter track it, then you'll take it home and you'll spend time developing it, making it kind of your own. And that's where, the beauty really comes from, because it's developing this like new, different style, but it's still you. And so that's what happened with that song. I actually ended up flying him out here to San Diego, and we worked in this room and recorded the song. And nice. it was a lot of fun. But check that one out, Fire Away. We have
let's play Fire Away real quick.
Yeah.
Let's play it. We're gonna play Fire Away real quick.
She call me daddy, but I don't wanna step soon. And there's a bad daddy in the next room. What's the next move? Send a text through. OG got me hanging in the jet soon. She want the real thing, she don't win no less tune. Top shelf, her body is a blessing. She the best one. So top, tell me nice, better watch what you say. And big man, flies from the sky to the pavement. Big man, fly down my eyes are a blazing. It's amazing. Fire away. The rum and the coke and I put it right in my face. Had a match up and up to the pub and I stay in this bitch. Got a girl on my phone and she said that she back on my page, but I don't know her name. Fire away. San Diego Dynasty.
Yo, that one, hopefully YouTube doesn't stifle us for having your music on there, whatever if it does, but fucking that shit was so tight.
Yo, thank you for letting me be a part of that moment.
Bro, what incredible.
Congrats, man. That's so cool.
Thank you.
So
that
cool.
song goes berserk. If
it
you
goes
didn't
berserk.
know,
it goes
now
berserk.
you know.
It goes berserk. Yeah. So many people hit me up on Instagram. They're like, this song is so sick. Who is this? I'm like, oh, through the roots. But it's funny. I sent it to Enrique. Enrique is one of the best videographers in the game. He does all my reels. Yeah, and I sent him the song, and he's like, "Yo, this is the one." Like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Okay, hold up. I got to know who did the production on that, because that is really,
so that
really
shout out
good
to,
stuff.
to Justin Johnson, Fustin, we call him.
Yeah.
He's an awesome person. He is a secret weapon. You would never know that this man is like just an expert producer. He's actually a DJ, and I think that's what makes him so versatile, because he has country gold, records, and like
No
you
shit.
never know that somebody like that would come slap this in your face. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I am very grateful to have him in the mix, and we did the whole TTR album that we put out in 2022 with him, and it was an epic experience. He's out in Nashville, and so him, Calvin, our drummer, he's an amazing producer. He does a lot of like reggae, more reggae forward music, but is a great producer all around as well, and expert drummer. I love Calvin. He was a huge part. He produced that whole bass kind of part in that. You kind of hear that reggae bass line. That was Calvin. He played that. We were all just like, it was gross. That's the kind of the vibe that you get when it does that switch up.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when there was a point in your video where you're running with your gun in the air, and that was literally, we had this Jamaican producer, his name is Greg. He came in, and these guys, a lot of the Jamaicans, like they're serious. They're business. They're not wasting any time. They're there to work. Like if it's that situation, they're no messing around. Any Jamaican, they're not messing around. So he comes in there, and that's kind of the vibe, right? Like you're like, is everything okay?
Is everything cool?
Yeah. Play this song, man. Craig, you watching this? I know, running around the room like that. Same thing. Doesn't even know the words, but tried to sing it, just going off. And it was like, that's when we were like, okay, this is gonna work for sure. So
good.
Yeah,
that song is so dope.
Thanks, man. There's a lot of moving parts. The energy, that room, the people that were there. Shout out to Chief, the songwriter. He's amazing individual, master songwriter. He's gonna make millions of dollars one day. Brady was doing some key parts on that song as well, and Cam was in the mix too. So yeah, we it's everybody in the room, and that's the thing. It's like songwriting. How do you make it fair? How do you split it up? It's like just split it with everybody who's in the room that made the magic. Like that's that's how we do it. So anyways, back to new releases. Thank you again, Marcelo, for including that in your epic moment.
Oh, thank you for allowing me to. I didn't have to pay any royalties or anything, which is sweet.
Right.
That's a sensitive subject. I know.
Actually, no. Get it out there. Get it out there.
Get it out there.
Get it out there, man.
That was so funny. You posted something about Spotify, like paying artists, and I was like, this is a good thing, right? And you were like, no, this is the worst. I was like, oh shit, I missed the mark again. I don't get it.
Hey, we're all experts in our own craft, so no worries. But we did a song with this amazing Jamaican artist named Busy Signal. He's an amazing dancehall artist and a big inspiration of mine personally. Calvin, Brady growing up in Hawaii with Calvin. They're both from Hawaii, and reggae is like all they hear on the radio. It's what they play on the radio there. So Busy Signal is a big influence to them, and to have the honor of having him on our single Refund. We wrote that song in Hawaii, and
also just another brilliant song, dude. Are you kidding me? Like the amount of people that relate to the song like that.
Songwriters, man, they like, it's this mix, it's this concoction of these like perfect ingredients. It's like, here's us, we have the this style, this music, and you bring this songwriter who might not even write this genre specifically normally, and we'll just like drop this. It's like this energy that's created, and he literally got up to go to the bathroom to go pee and was like taking a piss, and he came out and he's like, I got it, turn the mic on, and he just look, we're just like
crazy.
So yes, and then it's obviously us working together to make it our own, and massaging things around and writing different verses and whatever, but it's the inspiration of those, like the energy, those moments. So yeah, check out Refund featuring Busy Signal, out now everywhere. And then we have, and this is new news, we're releasing a live album from our show at the Garden Amphitheater in Orange County. So that's going to drop actually on December 20th. So excited to get that out.
Where do they watch it?
So there will be some visual content along with it that will drop after.
Or listen. Where do they listen?
But yeah, listen on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, SoundCloud, any DSP digital streaming platform you can find.
December 20th.
So, yeah, December 20th. It will be at midnight on that day. So it's usually 9 p.m. if you're Pacific Standard Time, but midnight on the East Coast.
Okay. Yeah, we got a lot of West Coasters in the PTG community. That'd be amazing. Everybody show out, tune in, listen. Yeah. I guarantee it's going to be a fun time. Maybe we'll do a live thing in the Discord.
There we go.
We'll listen in.
Well, that could be cool. I mean, it's it's definitely an idea to get an idea of what we sound like live.
Wait, the 20th. That's when our GOAT meeting is.
That is, yeah.
Bro.
Nice.
Bro, we do like a monthly thing with the Discord members. We've got like our mega supporters. They're the GOATs. We have a GOAT meeting that night. We're probably going to be done by 9 p.m. I think we start at 5, so it's not going to be a 4-hour thing, but that'd be sick to hop back in the Discord at 9 and listen.
Yeah. Let's run it.
Let's try to set something like that up if we can.
That would be awesome. I mean, you guys are free to play it early too, or whatever, if that's something that can be done. But yeah, excited for that. It's something we haven't done before. Live is it's the real deal. It's just like what you're hearing, but the recording. So it's a lot more raw than your studio recordings, because you're trying to make those perfect. This is raw. This is not perfect. We're not singing perfectly in tune. We're trying our best. And it's funny about this album. Like, we didn't go into this going, hey, we're going to make this live album live at Garden Amp. It was just like, hey, this sounds good, and we should put this out because, people haven't had the opportunity to listen to us live. And it's kind of like validation of like, hey, these guys can actually play, So yeah, it's an exciting thing for us. Stoked to end the year with getting that, sneaking that in at the end of the year, and then on to some really, really exciting things next year with some new music. So yeah, just stay tuned through theroots.com. There was something else that you had asked me, and I kind of lost it.
Thank you all from the bottom of our hearts for the tremendous support with the PTG show. If you are enjoying these episodes and want to help with the progress and development of this program and connect with like-minded, hungry paintball players, then head on over to ptgpodcast.com, click the orange Patreon link, and become a member of the PTG World Discord chat room. And now back to the show. What does playing a show like that live mean to you? And then to have it be made into an album, and now it's going to be publicly consumed. What does that mean for you and the guys and the crew?
Oh man, it's really exciting, just to be able to give people that piece of content. There's people there that are screaming in the background that are on that album, like they've now put an album out on Spotify, so it's pretty cool that we're connecting people, doing. So it's mainly, it's really for the fans. Garden Amphitheater is a really cool, like 650 cap venue in Orange County. It's like literally like a mini amphitheater. If you've been to if you've been to like the Mesa Amphitheater, or maybe like something like that, any outdoor arena amphitheater, it's like that, but it's just like really small. It's a mini version. So you get the same kind of energy, but like it's just really condensed. So love it. Like, and to be able to go there, that's one of our favorite venues to play. And to have that come from a show that we did there it's an amazing feeling for us. It's like us showcasing like our real, like, uncut performance, because we play our stuff, we might play it a bunch of times to try to get the best take. So in the studio stuff. So this is just like raw, get a vibe for, what we're like live, and hopefully everyone enjoys it.
You started in 2011 with the group, is that correct?
No. We started in 2000, pretty much. It was 2008, but it was like the tail end of 2007. Oh, wow. Yeah, so we've been doing this for 15.
Wow.
Years. So, yeah,
that's amazing. Okay, so that actually predates what I had seen, but that's tremendous. How did you guys find this together, and what got you into music to start with? Like, how did this whole journey start for you?
My dad was a musician. My mom loved music. There was always music playing in my house. I always remember they had record players, and I would always.
What were they bumping?
Oh man, like Teddy Pendergrass and like
Bro,
the
your dad played with
Temptations.
Marvin Gaye. Don't downplay it.
Marvin Gaye, of course, Marvin Gaye records. Yeah, my dad was a musician, and so there was just always music around, you know, and when I was really young, you know, listening to that music, there was reggae that was playing kind of more in my elementary days. But I just remember like how music made you feel, you know, and having like a guitar around, I would always go over to it and like mess with it. My dad would be like, don't, you know, he would like not encourage me to play it, but he definitely didn't want me touching his guitar, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, there was always like this weird thing. And then I got to the age where he'd try to teach me and we'd like, you know, butt heads. It was just like, put your fingers like this. I was like, Dad, I can't, you know, like they're not long enough, you know? Like, so, you know, there's all of that. But I think really my dad developed my ear at a young age. Like he would play songs back again and again and again and be like,
Yeah.
did you hear that? Did you hear that solo? I'm like, Dad, I hear one song. Like I hear this song we're listening to. What is it? What are you talking about? You know? And he's like, no, the bass.
I want to,
like
hey, real quick. I want to interject right there. Cause to me, this is mind blowing. I just don't understand it. Cause you're right. I hear one song. I know if I like it or if I don't like it, if it makes me feel good, if it doesn't. Evan came over. This was like 10 years ago. And I don't remember what song it was that you played for Jade, my niece, but it was like you listened to the song one time and then you had your guitar and he's sitting there and he's like, okay. Dun, 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 dun. Like, and then all of a sudden he's fucking playing the song. And I'm like, how in the hell did you do that? Like how he sees it. Yeah. Like it's incredible. Do you remember what I'm talking about, Evan? At Dan's house? Yeah.
And so I think it all stems from this. Like
right.
my dad used to be like, did you hear that bass? Like, and I'd be like, no. And he'd be like, okay, well then I'm gonna play it again. You got to hear it, you know? And I'm like, dude, song 30 times. I literally hate this song now, you know? I'm on to the next song already. Like I'm out of the car. Like get me out of here, you know? But it's such a gift that I got from him was learning how to listen for those sounds, you know? And my parents both were good dancers, you know? So I think at a young age I kind of got that, and that really helps with like my rhythm. And so, you know,
you're an okay dancer.
I mean, I have good rhythm.
Are y'all busting moves out there on like you all have
they bust moves?
Okay.
They bust moves.
It's not so much choreographed, you know. I'm excited as my career develops, you know, to get more into that because like I love dancing. I used to do hip hop dancing in high school, and
it's dude, that's the move, the TikTok, the whole
oh,
thing,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah. It's literally the move. I really want to incorporate that into our show down the line, you know, because I just love it. Like people like Chris Brown and Justin Bieber, like those guys moving around. It's really entertaining, you know, and to know that they sing on that level like that too is just like talk about in shape. Those guys are in shape. But yeah, so listening, developing that ear at an early age, that's really what got me, I think, a little bit like leveled me up, you know, in listening and what to listen for. And I wasn't very much a lyrics guy when I was younger. So I would always focus on like the beats, you know? And so I think like a producer more than like a songwriter for me is what I would call myself. But I like to, I'm like, you know, later down the line, I'm getting into songwriting, which is super funny. But but yeah, I think that journey, I think it was leading into just having that guitar, learning that guitar. My dad would leave the house and say, don't play my guitar. Of course I'd grab it, you know, and this was in elementary school, teach myself how to play. I'd go over to my friend Alex Morelli's house and I'd play all of his instruments, and his dad was a musician. And I would literally go over there and I'd like, oh yeah, I want to come over and play. And he'd literally be somewhere, be like in his music room, like playing with all of his stuff. And, you know, it was funny because that's really what developed my playability. And then as I got along, I learned how to play like more rock music and got into that in middle school, and was listening to like, you know, Atreyu and Avenged Sevenfold and learning the guitar more. And then from there, learning how to sing and play guitar. And then I started discovering, I would go to watch, you know, all the reggae bands would come to the San Diego Fairgrounds and they'd play, and I'd go watch Ziggy Marley and I'd go watch Stephen Marley and, you know, Steel Pulse. And so I remembered reggae at that point because my mom would used to play Bob Marley and UB40 when I was really young. So I was like, man, I love the way this feels. And now that I'm older, I can kind of understand like what he's talking about. And And I can, I love the feeling. The feeling was what captured me when I was young, listening to reggae, and it just made me feel a certain way. So I was like, I think this is the music that like I want to play. So I learned how to cover some songs. That's when I would like, Charles was one of my friends that, we'd listen to music together, and I didn't really have any kind of embarrassment around him. I felt very comfortable. So I'd sing and he'd be like, you're good. And then after he passed away, that's when I was like, I want to write him a song. And I did that. And then other people were like, this song's great. Like you should do more music. So that's kind of what led me into wanting to make music myself. And I did some DJing in middle school, and it was into the electronics and stuff like that. And so I think that's where kind of my programming and producer mind comes from. But, just playing the music and having fun like that led me into doing it with other people. And that's when I kind of unlocked singing and playing the guitar at the same time. Once I did that, I was like, okay, I need to find some guys to play with. So I was in college. I found a couple of members that are no longer in the band. One of them being Taylor, who was in the band for a long time. Taylor and Brady and I are the core. Taylor was actually in the band before Brady, and love Taylor. We all go through different things in life, and you realize like maybe there's some other things that you want to try doing, and that might be the priority for you. And so he's doing amazing, and stoked for him. But Taylor was early on, met him through a friend, through a music class, and saw him drumming in Guitar Center. He joined the band unofficially, and we just kind of started jamming together, him, his friend Ross, and I. And then from there, I needed a keyboard player. We found my friend Shane through a friend at school as well. And this wasn't like music school. This was like community college.
So you're you're building an army. Like,
yeah.
Mind, you're like, we're taking over, Who's
joining?
Well,
exactly. Well, I wanted to I saw these bands playing in the streets of like Santa Barbara, Rebelution and Iration. And I saw bands that were just playing at house parties. And I was like, this looks like fun, I really want to do that, but I want to do it better. So then we'd do that. And we'd go through just trying to buy the equipment that we needed without officially being like, a business, and we're young and all this stuff. So we developed this band, and recorded our first album. We had Brian Jackson on bass. He was from PQ, and Rancho Penasquitos. And so
I was gonna say
we had this group of guys that were all different, and there's a couple of us that really knew how to play and didn't, so we're like working together to make this like hodgepodge of a sound that like we wanted it to sound like this. We got better. We're playing shows downtown, some local gigs, and then that like kind of snowballed into playing shows in the colleges. We were kind of following in the footsteps of some of these bands. It's funny you mentioned Rebelution. I got a chance to play with those guys way later on, but those were one of the bands that that really stood out to me. And I saw in the backyard of a graduation party playing, and I saw how they were affecting people and in a positive way. And everybody was just on the same vibe, and it was just like a good environment. And so I looked up to those guys, and I'd go watch them play, and I'd go watch Soja play. And it was before they really, started doing their like really big summer tours. And it was still like, national tours that were, smaller rooms and stuff. So that kind of, they shout out to Rebelution, Soja, Iration, all of those bands, that really took notice that we were coming to watch them and stuff at that early stage. And we ended up recording our first EP before we really started like getting out on the road. And our keyboard player, Shane, at the time, got into some stuff, couldn't perform properly, came into the studio, was a mess. I don't want to get too into it, but Shane knows what's up. He's probably laughing about it. But yeah, so anyways, we recorded that EP, and we realized like we needed a keyboard player because Shane wasn't able to do it. So Brady, we found on Craigslist, and really funny that Brady's a core member, because
what a find.
That's when we really got introduced to. I mentioned this on my friend Elias's podcast, that we really got into really learning about Hawaii, and the people of Hawaii, and like learning how that dynamic is much different than we are over here in Cali and the rest of kind of North America. People, they just treat people a little bit different. And Brady's opened up my eyes to so many things, he's a very special human, and so grateful to have him. He joined the band, and it was just like, we were just on, so did that EP. We started playing in Santa Barbara. I've been a carpenter my whole life. And so we'd build stages in Santa Barbara. We'd bring this gear that Taylor and I would save our money for, and like do weird odd jobs to save money. And we'd go set up all this gear in Santa Barbara, and like, you know, hundreds of kids would come to the streets, and we'd play these parties that were just like completely out of control. Fights would break out. It was just like nuts, you know. And that's, you know, that's how we learned how to play in front of people. Really, it was like in Santa Barbara in the streets.
You built it. You straight up just said, "We're building it.
Yeah,
we're gonna play it."
Yeah, we really did. And it was great. Definitely some memorable times.
That's
And
legendary.
From there, we got catapulted into that festival I was telling you guys about, where we really, like, that's when I was like, okay, I think we can do this, you know.
Yeah.
Was when we had a promoter that these two brothers, Josh and Jeremy, they came out to watch us perform. A good friend of mine to this day, his name's RP. He's a promoter, and he lives in Hawaii now and does real estate. But at the time, he was just a promoter, and he brought these guys to come watch us play. These guys were promoters, and they wanted to put us on events around the community. And then from there, it went to playing their festival that they put on, which was like all of the bands that are like headlining today. And then above them was like, you know, Ben Harper and like, you know, like just bands that like headliners, you know, they were headliners for this scene, but it was like a kind of like a pop festival, you know. So you'd have an alternative band that was super big playing. So it was a awesome show to be a part of, because it was like playing in front of those fans that maybe haven't heard you before and seeing the response, and that opened our eyes. So from there, it just turned into us playing with Iration and Rebelution. Those guys invited us on the road, and we developed a really tight relationship with them. And that was a lot of our momentum in the early days was from those guys trusting us and giving us a chance and bringing us out on the road. And, you know, we'd play for little money, but, you know, it got us what we needed, and we had to sacrifice and go out there and grind. And we bought a short school bus, and it was a journey. It's been a journey, but yeah, man,
that short school bus, man, that like little mini trip I went with you guys on, it was like 3 shows or something along California coast. It was when I had torn my ACL, 2010.
Yeah.
You know, I was on crutches. I just had surgery. I remember I was on crutches. I went with you guys. It was like some of the most fun that I've ever had in my life. Like, that was just such an epic time of hanging out with you guys and seeing how you guys worked and how that all gets put together, you know. And to see where you guys have come now, it's like you guys are on these big old buses, too fancy to hang out with your boy. You know, it's like, you know, a whole different thing these days, you know, but back then, those were the good old days.
Hey man, you're always welcome. You could just walk right on. But yeah, man, it's been a journey. It's definitely like blessed to have gone through all of like the hardships of that too, because it's not easy, you know. It's definitely like a grind out there to be able to get to that point. And we're still, you know, like we're still trying to make it happen. And what I mean by that is really getting to that like that end goal, you know, of the biggest stages, you know, that we want to be on. So yeah, man, the work never stops. It's just constantly trying to be innovative and take your sound to places that you haven't before, you know, and write songs in a way that you haven't.
I want to just real quick for the listeners, I want to have some clarity on, you've been kind of modest about the Rebelution thing, but you are so good at what you do personally with your fundamentals in music and the different instruments that you could play, that when Evan said like we played with them, Evan went on tour with them as a guitarist. So Evan was part of the Rebelution band for a tour because that's how good at his craft he is, you know. So that's an incredible thing. I mean, Rebelution is one of my favorite bands of all time too, right? Like Rebelution is epic. Everybody knows who Rebelution is, but Evan was the guitarist for them. And, you know, sorry if I'm saying stuff that I shouldn't, but they wanted Evan to continue playing with them because Evan's that good at what he does. But he has bigger dreams with his group and believes in his guys. That's an incredible thing, right? That speaks to your talent and your ability, which is, you know, super impressive. You're being kind of modest about it. I want to make sure that the listeners know that you jammed with them, you know, on stage, and you guys have.
That's
go
tremendous.
ahead, Ty. Yeah,
no,
it's how good he is.
He's consumed by it. He's absolutely consumed by his craft, and I don't care what you do, paintball, music, pick a subject. If you
pickleball,
pickleball, let's go. If you consume yourself with that craft the way that this man has done that in any facet, if you approach it in that light and with that vibrato to really be the best, you, even if you don't reach the pinnacle, man, you're gonna fall with the legends. You're gonna be, you're gonna be right there because of you're in the heart space. You're in your heart and you're creating, and you have purpose and passion and intention. And when you bring all that and you bottle it together, you're gonna get a bad mofo like young Evan on the beats and everywhere he goes. So the fact that you were able to run with Rebelution speaks volumes. That the sounds that they're pumping out are like extraterrestrial, you know what I mean? And I know that that's what you guys are on the mission of doing as well. And I do want to kind of dive into like the frequencies. Is there these like miracle tones? Because there's like the 432nd megahertz miracle tones, and
Yeah.
are you guys using these tones or influenced by these types of things in any way with the music?
We are influenced by them. There's an album we did, Take You There, where we dabbled with some of that stuff. I forget what exactly the songs were. I mean, I think there's a lot of classical musicians that kind of might align more with like their desire to really like implement those kinds of things. For me, I'm a little bit more like big picture, but I do love the intricacies of that, because I know like a lot of Bob Marley songs were written in that and not 440, it was written in the lower. So I know that,
I don't know anything about this.
There is
frequency.
something special. No, Marcel. But there is something special about it. Yeah, it's just something that has to do with like, the universe and how everything's synced together. It's really interesting. I'm not an expert on it, so I don't really feel like I should be explaining it, but I definitely know what you're talking about. So yeah, like study up on that. I will as well to be able to explain it. But yeah, there's something special about how the different frequencies affect you differently and affect your ears, and is soothing into your heart rate and your pulse and all those kinds of things. So it's
and
really
can also like be adversely
exactly
the same way.
Yeah, which is why like in horror music and like there's certain tones that they're using like they make you feel edgy, like there's definitely a chemistry and science. Oh yeah, for sure. There's something definitely negative in there.
There's this crazy show I just watched on Netflix, and it's with Julia Roberts. What was it? It was Leave the World Behind, and it is like this really
heard of it. I haven't seen it yet.
Well directed. It was very interestingly directed, and there's like these frequencies that's sounding off, and it's like hurting people, and there's so much power in sound. There's even weaponry that is sound generated type stuff, which is really profound, and there's all of these different levels that our ears can't even pick up. Like there's sounds that our human ears don't hear, and and same with light and like the way that vision works, and there's a whole spectrum of light that we can't see, and all of these things that are really interesting stuff.
A lot of that low frequency stuff, like below 40 hertz, is like stuff that you can feel but you can't hear, or 20 hertz, so it's like it's a lot of the sub frequencies, that you're feeling at shows, that little low rumble at like electronic shows or rap shows and stuff like that. But that's what moves you, and you can use it as a tool, to really make things more powerful, more energetic, and you can dial it back to make things less. So it's pretty cool, man. Sound is definitely a special thing, and
magic,
and an amazing tool. Yeah, it really is. It really is.
It is magic.
Yeah. So I would love to make a song at 430, 432 someday, but we just haven't yet.
Yeah, that's awesome. And who would you most like to collaborate with? If you could collaborate with anybody, who would you want to collab with?
Wow. I just got asked this question, and I like told myself I was going to think about it, because I just don't ever really have the right answer.
I mean,
there's no wrong answer.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, Marcelo, you said Marvin Gaye, and that was somebody that I never got to see. My dad, I never got to see my dad's life as a musician. And I mean, he literally played in Marvin Gaye's band, toured like played Radio City
What?
Music Hall with Marvin Gaye. Yeah, like
No.
my dad was a legend on
What?
an instrument. Yeah, and he was self-taught too, you know, like in the streets of Cincinnati, taught himself how to play. So
Wow.
there's something there.
Huh.
But yeah, I think playing with Marvin Gaye would be really cool. Collaborating, making
Yeah.
a song with him. I think that would be
Sick.
pretty special. I've always
Yeah.
wanted to sample a song, one of
Yeah.
his songs, you know, in one of ours, or do something cool like that.
Mm.
I think that has to be your next project
Definitely on the list for sure.
on the
That'd
list.
be- that'd be
On the
crazy.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. Man.
Yeah. But you did, you know, you mentioned the Rebelution thing, touring with them. You know, I got to shout out to those guys. Those guys have really you know, they showed us it was possible. You know, it's like we're you know, we're young kids over here, you know, playing music and looking up to these bands that you know, kind of went through the same thing, realized that like they wanted to do this, you know, for a living. And I'm sure some of their stories kind of align with ours. Is like you do something until you realize like what it's doing for people, and then you want to run with that, you know. And they kind of showed us the ropes, really, you know, and gave us the opportunity as they grew to give us those opportunities to play for their fans, and showed us it was possible. So shout out to Marley, Eric, Rory, and Wes, and Dean, their manager, you know, for giving us those opportunities to play. Yeah, it's
What was
really
that like?
really
I mean,
really full circle, man. Like
yeah.
I literally remember being at a graduation party, one of my best friends, Alec, and they were playing in his backyard and being like, I want to do this, you know. And then like fast forward to playing Red Rocks with Rebelution on stage is pretty sick, you know.
I got to be
So,
there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you did. That was
Dude,
epic.
that was
Yeah.
like one of the most incredible. You literally hit me up like the night before and were like, hey, you could come out, opportunity to come out. I was like, I think I just got back from a paintball trip. I was like, I'm coming, and booked it, flew out super early that morning, stayed that night and came back. But that was Red Rocks is one of the most beautiful. Well, it's the best concert arena that I've ever been to. I haven't been
Yeah.
to many, but it's the best one that I've ever been to. Incredible. You took me through that tunnel, which was insane, where you go from like backstage down through the tunnel where all the artists sign, and you get to that like center point of the stage where you explained it. That's like the best place to listen to the music. That was like, right? It was like the most.
It's called front of house. It's like mixed position, where the sound guy mixes from. And yeah, that's one of the best places to listen for sure, because it's like it's the acoustic center for the most part. So
Yeah.
like whenever you have speakers set up, and you have like a stereo pair of speakers, there's always like an acoustic center. That's like the best place to listen from. So that's why you'll notice, like if you're in between two speakers, or if you're in your car, like you move one way or the other, you know, like these sound systems are designed to have like that acoustic center where it sounds the best, you know. That's usually kind of like where you're sitting in your car. So yeah, that's for that place is front of house. And I think at least that's where it sounds best to me. And yeah, it's to be able to be in that little bubble and watch a show is really, really, really
I mean,
a
that's
blessing for sure.
Yeah, it was an awesome
cool.
night. You guys could head to my Instagram. It's saved on one of the highlights of my stories. I'm like, that's one of the coolest experiences of all time for sure. It was epic. Seeing you guys perform, seeing Rebelution there, hanging out. It was awesome. Evan, I do want to talk to you though about you know, again, a lot of similarities. Paintball is such a tough profession to make a living from, right? And I've seen how you have fought along the way to get to the point you're at now. But I want to talk about like the early days and the different odd jobs, as you had mentioned, and the things that you did to supplement the income, since it wasn't quite coming in for music yet, but you knew it was your passion. You wanted to pursue this. You knew one day it was going to be your income, and the sacrifices you made and the types of jobs that you took on so that you can also have this passion project that you believed in that would turn into, you know, your main thing one day. Let's kind of talk about those, because I think you had a lot of fun stuff going on early on.
Yeah, I mean, I've always done
been a rock.
I've always been a rocker, man. It's just like no,
he's the Christmas tree guy. This is how I know Evan. He's the Christmas tree guy. Every Christmas we'd go get our Christmas tree from Evan because he was cutting them down at the spot, and you know, he's the Christmas tree guy.
I worked at a Christmas tree lot for 10 years. If I can encourage anybody to do that who needs some money, go do it, because the tips are great. Go do it in a good neighborhood.
Epic.
You know, where actually go do it somewhere where they have quality trees. That's the most important part. Right? You don't want to work somewhere that has trash trees. You're getting nothing.
Not good.
No. So find a good tree lot. But yeah, that was definitely, I mean, I think that developed my Christmas spirit a little bit too. You know,
For
there's something
sure,
I loved
dude.
about it. I look forward to it every year. Good money and tips. You know, you can make a quick buck before the holidays. It's definitely an awesome thing. But yeah, you got to just grind, man. I mean, there's always that, like, you know, you can't just completely like disconnect from life and focus on something. Like you know, you got to make the money. You got to survive. You got to, you know, you still got to make the ends
Gotta
meet.
eat.
So yeah, so I would do that kind of stuff. I've always been a carpenter, so I've done like a plethora of different kind of construction work. Framed houses for 4 years. I, you know, have done all sorts of my own remodels. I've worked on Marcelo's house.
Yeah.
I've, you know, done all kinds of different
Finished, by
stuff.
the way. You still have some what is it, the caulking that needs to be finished?
I'm not sure.
You forgot the caulking.
I don't know anything about
Like,
that.
Dude, I have the bottles under my damn fucking sink, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I think
I don't
it's
know.
okay. It looks great though. Looks
We'll have to
amazing.
review.
Looks review.
Yeah, there's there's a warranty.
You already signed.
I'm gonna write management. It's been like 3 years. I think I'm out of warranty.
Yeah, I think you are too. I was gonna say, but yeah, just doing the things that I know how to do, the skill sets that I had developed, you know, throughout my life, like just trying to always know that's going to keep me going. The construction stuff, man, for me was like, it's the biggest thing. I love creating stuff, whether it's music, songs, building, you know, I like building with tools and I like building songs, you know, it's the same kind of thing, same kind of like creative outlet for me. So when I get a little overwhelmed with working on music, I turn to that, you know, my creative outlet, which is woodworking. And with that, I can actually make some money doing it. So that's where I kind of focus on using my skills, and
good money too. Really good.
Yeah. It always is a great, you know, fallback if you need to, you know, do that for a minute. And
I've been in that similar background of doing the inspections for real estate agents and helping them repair properties for their clients and all that kind of stuff for certifications. And there's a ton of money to be made in homes repairs, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So, you know, you just got to do whatever you can to make it happen.
Totally.
It's difficult though, you know, right? Because you're like that stuff, and then all of a sudden you gotta like switch gears and focus on, you know, your music or whatever it is else that you do, and you know, you got to learn how to shut them off, you know, and then focus, because it's tough to it's hard when you really love that other thing too, because you're like filling two cups of, you know, you can't fill both cups, you know, so it's that balancing act. But definitely you know, got to do what it takes to get where you're trying to go and make that sacrifice by managing that balance.
Yeah, whatever it takes, man. Especially to fund the dream. You know, obviously we take on these jobs. Like I crawled underneath houses for like almost I think a decade, where I was just under houses every single day, 3 or 4 houses, and like whatever it took to get me to the paintball field, to make sure that I could, you know, have whatever little money I have to get to that next practice or make the next event. It's so rewarding though. Like that's why you do it. That's why we take the journey, is to have that battle and that fight to claim the dream, you know? And I feel like you fought really hard for a long time, and you're starting to see you know, that dream come to reality, which is an amazing manifestation that you've created, you know, and it came from from being passionate at what you do. And that's like we've been talking about this whole entire program, is if you want something, just go out there. You got to do whatever it takes to go get it, you know?
Yeah. Consistency, you know, you can't just, even a little bit every day, you know, keeps you lubricated, you know, it keeps you going. And like you said, you got to do whatever it takes. That's crazy, man. Crawling under houses.
Oh God. Nightmares. It's like Halloween every single day.
Like, Marcelo, what kind of stuff did you have to do?
Well, you know what's funny is I've pretty much been all in on paintball from day one. So really early on, 18, 19, I worked at a smoothie place in San Diego. I worked at a place called Maui Wowie at the UTC Mall. I made smoothies. I worked as a sous chef in like a private kitchen. We made pre-made meals, you know, kind of like healthy options for people that were on a like diabetic type plan. And then I worked in Dye Paintball, which was the main sponsor at the time. You know, I'd put guns together. But at like 22 years old is when I went all in paintball. But again, still, it's like a lot of side jobs, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's like there's competing and getting paid to play professional paintball, which I would equate to getting paid to be a musician, right? Like literally getting paid for your work, your art. And then there's all the other. It would be like if you were to then also teach music lessons. Well,
Right.
I decided every weekend that I'm not practicing with my team or competing, I'm going to a field and I'm teaching. So I decided that early on. It was like 21, 22 years old. I went all in. I quit the smoothie place. I quit the restaurant that I was at. You know, I stopped working at Dykes. I actually switched teams by that point.
Was there a shift in your like, did that advance you at all, I would say?
It absolutely did, for multiple reasons. I think the biggest reason is you realize if this doesn't work, I don't have another option at the moment. So I would have to find a way to pivot, right? So you're really motivated to make what you're doing work. Secondly, teaching paintball. And it's funny. There's this kid that I play basketball with right now in the off season. He's 20 years old, super talented. I see him at the gym. He's there every day that I get there. He's been there for a couple hours. He's doing all the drill. He's like really good, incredibly talented. Plays for one of the local colleges here. Evan, you're familiar with Miramar. He plays on Miramar. And I was talking to him about like coaching. He's kind of started coaching. I'm like, coaching is going to make you a better player. And it's something I've learned from paintball, and it really helped me in my early years of competing as I started coaching and teaching clinics to bring in that income that I wasn't getting from professional paintball. I didn't really start making any sort of actual income from competing until like, I don't know, 20, 25 years old. Something like that is when I went back to the Ironman, signed a decent deal. Before that I was with the Russian Legion, and it was like, it was 2013 when I signed back with them. 2012 was like, we're talking like $12,000 a year to play. That's not paying bills, right? Especially not in San Diego. So you have to do all these other things. And teaching made me a better player. Absolutely. And so not only did it supplement my income to where I could support myself fully from doing what I love. Like it's not like I would love to see what we could do as professional paintball athletes if we got paid, $500,000 a year and we didn't have to worry about anything else other than how good can we get at paintball. That would be incredible. I'd love to see that one day, but we're not there. So it is what it is. So the next best thing is supplementing that income, not with another job, but a job within paintball where I'm still talking about paintball. I'm teaching paintball. I'm reiterating the ideas that I have, the concepts that I believe in. And I'm actually training with these players as well. Like, I bring my gear. I do these drills, with players, especially the teams that I work with. It's become fully integrated into who I am. And I still do all this stuff to supplement my income because professional paintball just doesn't pay that well. Like competing alone does not pay an incredible amount. There's some players that, maybe they make 80 grand a year just from competing. But if you live in San Diego, that's actually not a great salary. It's like, okay, right? Like you're still living pretty modestly. So if you're making that, amazing. And if you're not doing things to also supplement that, then you're kind of blowing your opportunity, in my opinion. My dad always taught me to look at everything like a business. He was somebody that, was 80 years old when he passed in 2019. So really old school, traditional Italian guy. My great grandparents came over on the boat in Ellis Island back in 1906, I think, actually. And just an old school mentality. My dad drove from New York, crossed with his older brother when he was 16 years old. Didn't finish high school and just started a ton of his own businesses. They were all very successful, right? And so he always instilled that business mindset into me and really taught me to find ways to monetize things that I enjoy doing. And to me, like Evan, you talk about some of the greatest things your dad left with you. The greatest things my dad left with me was that find ways to monetize things I enjoy doing, so that I'm not at the mercy of somebody else. They're things that I enjoy. And I guess I actually can't say that's the greatest thing he taught me because there's a lot of other things that come with character that he taught me that I forever in his debt to. But from a business standpoint, my goodness, he taught me. To me, I look at things so simply. I'm like, oh, cool. well, I enjoy this. I can find a way to monetize that. I could show other people how to enjoy that in a better way. And that's a way to monetize it, you know? And so I've always treated paintball like that. And you have to. If you're a young player and you're listening to this, there's no like guaranteed salary at the end of the road that's going to be the solution to your financial problems. Not yet. Maybe there will be. There's a lot of interest in paintball right now. We're in front of more eyes than we've ever been. Sports Center, ESPN, all these high profile social media platforms are sharing content. We're like, I guess we've been approached by Vans to sponsor a bunker on the field. Like there's things happening that maybe in the next 10 years, maybe in the next 10 years, there's legitimate salaries to where you can only focus on paintball, but that's not the case right now. However, I would still advocate if you love paintball and you want to be a professional paintball player, this is the greatest. No knock to your profession, Evan. I'm sure you feel the same way about yours, but I feel like this is the greatest thing you could ever do. Like it's so amazing. The rewards are undoubtedly better than almost any other option I had in life. You know,
Thanks to you guys, it seems like right now is a good time to get into paintball, you know?
it's a great time to get into paintball, dude. It really is. I mean, it always is. I feel like right now is paintball's in a good spot, but we've also been saying that for a long time. So again, who knows? What I do know is you can take matters into your own hands within this sport. And if you get good enough, you build a brand. Archie, you listen to that episode. He did a great job of describing like being a product, right? And so I've always tried to make sure that I'm a good product. I need to be somebody that sponsors want to endorse. Be valuable to other brands. Be excellent at my craft. Be a true professional. Be someone who shows up day in and day out. With those things, you're going to find a way to monetize it, period. If it wasn't having our own podcast and doing all of the coaching and clinics and being part of team, if it wasn't all these things, then I'd be a graphic designer at a high-end paintball company, or maybe I'd be a sales rep. I have these opportunities because of the brand that I've built within the sport. Right. So now there's options, that wouldn't be there if I didn't spend time building my own personal brand. So if you're a young player, realize that there is a great fortune to be made in paintball. And when I say fortune, I don't only mean monetarily. It's everything involved. It's living a lifestyle that you enjoy, the relationships, experiences, and travel. You can't put a price on it. And then you can make a legitimate income, but you have to work at it. You have to treat it like a business. You have to really nourish it. So, I could go on for an hour about that conversation. It's something that we've had a whole show on how to monetize paintball. You should go back. It's one of our early episodes, right? But it's Tyler and I both, like, what he pieced together was termites. He was the termite master, that was the family business. And that's what paid his bills for a long time. And then more recently, he's all in on paintball. You get to a point to where it's like, and same with you, Evan, like it was, the Christmas tree lot. It was, building houses, doing all this. And now you're like all in on what you do, music. Cause you get to that point. Paintball is the same thing. It's what I was too. I was like, okay, like I'm doing a lot less like odd paintball. I'm much more honed in on what I really enjoy doing in paintball now. I work with 2 teams. Basically it's basically it. I do Team USA, and then a few, we'll do a few PTG pro schools. But outside of that, it's all things that I want to do within the sport. But there were many years where it's like, you're a hired gun in another country, which is not a bad gig. Pretty awesome, right? They pay your travel to come over to Australia. They give you a little, per diem. You don't pay for anything there. And then they pay you $1,500 just to be there for the weekend. Not bad, right? Am I making 150 grand a year at that time? No. But am I getting a free trip to Australia and then also making, going home with $1,500 in my pocket and playing it? Yes. So those are the types of things that you could expect as a young paintball player that's pursuing a pro career, and it's like those experiences. I mean, you cannot put a price tag on it. I really believe that. So anyway, without getting too far into the weeds on that, it's I see the similarities there. Right. And it's respectable. And it's something that I don't think a lot of people know about musicians. I think a lot of people see musicians and they're like, no, you instantly have success. Yeah. What I've always thought was incredible. Like, you're on Spotify, bro. What do you mean you're not a millionaire? You
Yeah.
know, like what I've always thought was incredible was realizing like, oh man, you're so good at this thing. Like, I know you're so good at this thing. Like, I love your music. I've always been a huge fan. Like, truly, it separated from our friendship. I'm just a true fan of your music. But still,
Thank
I
you.
see how hard you have to work to make ends meet. You know, I'm like, man, it's like a professional paintball player. You know, and it's like it's not what I had this illusion of artist before. You know, where I was like, oh, if you're on Spotify, you're rich, or if you're on Apple Music, like, you know, and I don't know. I guess back then there wasn't Spotify, but you get my point, right? Like,
Right.
yeah,
You know, talking about the brands, you know, you're saying you got to, you being a product, you know, you guys are talking about how you have to be this attractive product. It's interesting because, you know, you're out here, we've been doing so much over the years, like so much, I guess you would call it like exposure, you know, opportunities, exposure shows, like going out and playing shows literally somewhere else, where you can be so good, but if nobody knows that you're good, you're nothing, you know. And I know you guys
for
touched on
sure.
that.
Yeah,
So it's just like being willing to put that grind in, you know, and knowing that, you know, as long as you keep doing that, you're going to get better and better and better and better at it. And you got to just keep touring, stay out there, you know, and try to be seen, you know, get in front of people and show them what you're trying to do and make them believe the same thing that you believe, and that's that you can make it and that you're worth it, you know.
100%, man.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a grind, man. I'll tell you this, I would not trade it for the world, you know. All the grinding
yeah.
that we have done, I mean, even the unsafe situations that we've been in, you know, we've had our tour bus burned down, like those memories, like
Totally.
the
They're
lessons
the
learned,
best.
you cannot trade it in. Like
Yeah.
the places that we were able to see, the grinding, the driving through the night, like I treasure those times. Like, I love, you know, I never thought that I'd be like driving, waking up in the sunset, driving through like Nebraska or Oklahoma or Maine or what, you know, like it's, you never know where this stuff's going to take you, you know, your skills,
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
so
yeah.
you just you gotta be all in on yourself. You know, I think that's one of the things too, is like, you got to trust yourself and try to stay positive at all times. Even when it does get hard, you know, because it does, and you're going to doubt yourself, and, you know, you're going to be in some really, really terrible situations where, you know, your mind is just not in the right spot. But you got to just know that you have those days, you know. And once you realize that, like, it's just like, that's the day you're having, and you got to just accept that, you know. And you got to learn to pivot and accept that that day is actually a lesson, you know, and that maybe you don't want to have any more of those days. So what can you do to not have that kind of day? You know, what kind of work can you put
100%.
in? What kind of extra work can you put in to not be in that situation? Um, so yeah, I you know,
Totally.
respect to the craft and to the grind, you know.
Yeah, the grind, man. It's
Yeah,
real, dude. And
yeah.
I just people don't realize that. They see the shiny product at the end and they don't realize what it took to get there. And you know, again, it was like an eye-opening thing realizing that musicians, same thing where I'm like, no, you're famous. You know, how are you not like, you know, raking in millions of dollars? And I see the hard work. I'm like, oh man, it's like what an insane dedication to the craft. Evan, we want to dive into the Discord. I know we got tons of questions. Actually, people are excited to have you on the
Oh wow,
show.
cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So, first one, the Dorfster 420. Oh, our man Russ, love the name. I would like to know, Evan, on your personal journey of following your passion in music, what was the hardest thing you've had to sacrifice along the way?
Hmm. Honestly, I think the hardest sacrifice is, like, we talk about all these little side jobs and skills that you have. Like, some people have multiple skills. Some people can have, you know, they get the luxury of like being, you know, having the ability to do different things. And I think one of the hardest sacrifices is like that battle of knowing, like, you could be making $300,000, or, you know, you could be making X amount of dollars doing something completely different. But you're like, I've put so much time into this, or I love this so much. I believe in this thing so much that, like, I don't even care. Like, I'm going to grind it out because I love it that much. You know, like, I'm going to do whatever I have to do. I think that's the biggest sacrifice, is like being dedicated to the game, you know, whatever
Mm,
that is, whatever that game is for you. That's the biggest sacrifice, I think, is knowing that you could go so many different ways, but you're like sticking it out here. And you know, it's that really, because there's so much that comes along with that, you know. There's little
hell
things,
yeah.
holidays, birthdays, girlfriends, relationships,
All
whatever,
of it. Yeah.
material things, whatever,
Right.
yeah, but it's that for me.
And this is what fills your cup up. This is what makes you happy and keeps you like living the most passionate life possible. Maybe you're making a ton of money, but it doesn't fill your passion, it doesn't really
Right.
fulfill you.
It's funny too, because I don't even know what that is like, and I think also another sacrifice is to not be distracted and know that I could take that more like maybe an easier road, or maybe something that
Mhm.
doesn't require so much work or whatever. But yeah, just like dedicating, just sticking it out,
Yeah.
yeah,
Being relentless on the
yeah,
mission.
yeah.
All right, I have my own personal question in regards to how do you feel the internet has affected the music business, within the last, let's just say, decade, and where's this thing going?
Oh boy,
It-
it's so hard to get discovered nowadays. Like you literally have to not only be a musician, but you have to be a content creator, And it's
Mhm.
something that all the bands are starting to learn, and you're seeing so much of it. And it's interesting because we're in a time where it's starting to get flooded, and so you got to be creative, in
Yeah.
doing these things and create content that's like going to stand out. And they've made it so hard to get in front of people, like with the metrics and the analytics and the algorithms and the way that they work. But really, like, content is king, like you have to put content out. That's like the biggest change right now of how things are going. That I think, once you have to build this fan base before you can go out there and tour, and you have to stay relevant because people will forget about you. Why? Because with the technology that's available nowadays, like I'm not going to say anybody can do it, but if you put those hours in, you can do it, and you have a lot more access to that technology and to those things now to like advance yourself. That like you have to be relentless in this, and you have to just constantly be in front of people and remind people that you're worth it.
Hmm. Love that. All right, we
Yeah.
got Jay
Yeah.
Lamb in the Discord, and we've got some exciting news also about the Discord that's going to be popping off for the new year
Oh yeah, we
to
do. Oh yeah.
really ramp things up for PTG World.
Spare a buck.
Yeah, chip a buck. Jay Lamb, Evan, who is one of your biggest influences in life?
Oh my gosh.
It's a tough one. That's a big question.
Oh man, that's a flattener right there.
He said one of, so you don't have to choose like there's a little wiggle there.
He was also wondering if you played paintball. We went over that in the beginning there, Lamb.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm gonna have to. I think I'm gonna have to come back to this in your Discord, or have to have you guys
Okay.
respond, because that's an important one. I think I can't just I don't have that.
Yeah.
Like it's hard for me to say. I know Marcelo would say Kobe like this,
Mhm.
but for me, I don't know.
No, I wouldn't though. Actually, I wouldn't. I mean, Kobe's up there, but I mean, it'd be hard for me not to say my dad, because he's like he is who I am. Like from a character standpoint, I take so much from him. From like a mentality standpoint and how to approach sports, Kobe. But is that bigger than who I am as a person? No. So it is a tough question.
Well, then
Yeah.
let's get him in the Discord. This will be even better. We'll ramp it up in the Discord, and
Do you have
we'll get this
Discord,
one.
Evan?
No, but I will.
No.
There we
Okay,
go.
we're gonna get you in there, boy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, you can't come. Who are one of
You have
your
a
biggest
Discord, or might have a
influences?
Discord. Yeah, I'll be in there.
Yeah,
Who's
and
one of your biggest influences? It's one of, so it's like there's some wiggle room.
I have to think about it. I
You
don't. I'm
can't cop
honestly,
out.
no, it's not a cop out. It's honestly one of those things where like I
it's a
don't.
big one.
I
Jeez.
hardly. It sounds like it sounds bad, but I really like look up to see to like like I'm trying to make this work so hard myself that like I haven't found something that like it sounds weird, but I've just been so focused on making this work that I really haven't. I don't, it's hard for me to say. I have
Yeah.
some close ones. I think are my influences. People who influence me are my closest friends that are doing cool shit, that are making shit happen.
Yeah.
Marcelo,
Yeah.
you're one of those, so I think like that's an easy answer for me. But I think like, biggest influences, like I think, man, it's tough,
It's a deep question for sure.
it is.
Okay, well, you know what? We're gonna get you in the Discord. This is perfect.
There we go.
Cool.
This is perfect. All right, we got young Stevie. Evan, you're in control of the tour rider. What's on your list of items that have to be in there?
Young Stevie knows what's up with a tour rider.
Young Stevie knows what's up.
Young Stevie. He's about his hospitality. That man.
Yo, young Stevie's so dope. He's
Young
part
Stevie
of
ain't young if he knows what a hospitality rider is.
So it's like
Yeah.
a play off of Joe Rogan, how they have what is it?
Young Jamie.
Young Jamie. So we
Yeah.
got young
He's
Stevie.
a young Stevie. He's
Nice.
legendary, man. He's a huge part of PTG. He's
Yeah.
he plays on one of the teams that I coach. Had a huge part in them winning the World Cup, which was awesome in how he approached that. Much love to young Stevie. And actually, I knew you were gonna love that question, Evan. I knew it
he's
because
the,
I was like, I don't even know what a tour rider is.
he's also the creative director. He does a lot of really cool stuff with PTG, and we absolutely love him. He's in the Discord moderating, so you'll get to see him in there too.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna do a solid Stevie, and I'm actually gonna read you our hospitality rider here. Let me just grab it
Whoa.
real quick.
Oh, snap.
Sorry, that was probably loud.
He's got it right here. So you guys have a whole like thread where you guys keep it just dialed in.
Yeah, this one's from. We have like documents that we send out to the venues before we even come that have like. We have like production rider. This is a good little question, Stevie. So for people who don't know, it's basically a list of all the stuff that you need in order to like do the job. Like there's a production rider where you need like X amount of speakers, you have requirements that you need, stage specs, soundboard specs, all these kinds of things. We travel with a lot of our own stuff, but like when you get on the Taylor Swift level, it's like, like specs on the way that the semi trucks have to drive into the place, specs on where they're going to park, the security, all this stuff. It's a huge thing in the production rider. Hospitality rider is like, what do you want in your green room? When we're on the road, we want it to feel like home. So we want like a list of all these things that make us feel at home. So for us, there's things that are like essentials, and then there's things that are like, things we want. So ours is 5 new black stage towels, 8 AA batteries, sanitizer wipes, 4-pack of regular black Sharpies, 9 hot meals, or a buyout for X amount of dollars. Drinks, it says 1 handle of Jameson whiskey, 1 case of local microbrew beer. We're whiskey guys over here. 1 6-pack of Heineken Zero. That's for Brady, doesn't drink. And
different than ours. Ours is like Gatorade,
right.
water.
Which is a crazy thing to talk about. If we want to circle back on it, is the team element of this, and the fact that you guys don't have drinking involved, because that is definitely a different thing there. But a 6-pack of Heineken Zero, 2 cases of bottled water, 2 bottles of ginger beer, Reed's brand specifically, and then 6 bottles of kombucha, all the specific brands there. 1 case of coconut water, 2 bottles of premium alkaline water, 1 bottle of cold brew. What else do we got? Ready to eat snacks, pita breaded hummus.
Dude, you guys are needy.
No Sabra brand. 4 energy bars or superfood bars. No Cliff bars or power bars. 2 bags of beef jerky. 1 pepper, 1 teriyaki. 3 bags of kettle brand potato chips, sour cream and onion, barbecue salt and vinegar. Fruits and veggies. Additional requests are crucial: locking dressing room, fridge that works, clean food grade ice, and a trash can.
Jesus, bro. You guys are high maintenance. We can't keep up with you guys. You guys are top notch.
I'm sorry if I'm introducing this to the paintball world, but you guys might need some riders.
We need to write you out, dude. We need some riders, 100%.
Yeah.
Dynasty, we kind of have this. Shout out to Vic. Vic is our pit manager, assistant coach extraordinaire. There's not enough titles he could give this man. He's our Vic. I'm like, Vic, he already knows too. When we show up to tournaments, he's like, okay.
He's your tour manager.
Basically, yeah, 100%. He's great. He's fucking fantastic. It helps so much. It's like, on one hand, I realize as a paintball player, I'm spoiled that he takes care of us this way. Like, we don't quite deserve it. But on another hand, I say, you're helping us win, truly. Like, we just get to show up and not have to worry about all these like little things. I can focus so much on the game, and I'm so incredibly. I gave him my World Cup jersey that we won in on Sunday because 100% he's a teammate. Yeah, he's a massive part of the team. Right. Like, literally, what he did throughout the weekend for me personally was like just so spectacular. He was such a big part of my performance. I would easily say that, you know? So no, it is, you know, again, it all comes down to like, if it's in the budget, but if you really want to be the best of the best of the best, these are the kind of things that the best of the best of the best do to make sure that they're the best of the best of the best. Period.
Also,
it's
we've
just
worked
what it is.
hard for this rider.
Yeah.
And we will continue to work hard for this rider, you know?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You know, trust me, this is
I'm
like,
with you, man.
this is down the line, you know, whatever. And this is minor. Like some riders are ridiculous. You know, some of these, what people ask for on these things is crazy. We're pretty simple, you know, for the most part. You can get everything at, you know, CVS. You know, like some people they're just put shit on there just to make people do things, you know, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what's on our rider.
Nice, dude. Great question, CV.
It takes the whole team. It really does. And like Marchie said, Vic, Houston Heat, we have a crazy squad of people with Randy and Mr. Monville. And it takes all of us. And like March said, you know, when you have that extra support, you guys are going to play better. You're going to have, you know, the production's going to be on point.
It's so awesome too when people are on point, you know, because it really does allow you to have that like next level of performance, you know, just you don't have to worry about it and you're just like totally conditioned and you know, you have everything you need. You can really focus, you know.
Absolutely. All right, we got a lot of votes on this one, March, so we got to fire this off. Texas Steve, Evan, MM33 said that you're one of his longtime friends. Mad props for not giving up on him. LOL. We know MM33 through paintball and know him to be a really great person. Don't tell him he said that that Texas Steve said that. What can you tell us about MM33 that we may not know about him outside of paintball?
Oh shit.
Oh boy. I'm gonna let you off easy, Marcelo.
You don't have to let me off easy. It's okay.
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I embrace it.
Oh man, there's just several different things I could say here.
I
the easiest thing I will say, I'd say, is this supposed to be like a stab?
It could be however you want to send it. Just something we don't know. You know, it could be. It could be.
You don't know. Oh, shit.
Yeah, about him outside of paintball. It could be that he has like a pet toad or something, or like, you know.
I'm gonna actually let you off really easy because I actually didn't know this, but Marcelo and I knew this, but I didn't know how well. But Marcelo's actually a great cook. Did anybody know that?
They do know that. That doesn't, honestly, Evan, thank you. Love you so much. But they do know that. They know that I cook around the holidays. It's a thing. Well, actually, they don't agree with it, but I tell them. So it doesn't count.
I need to hear what the other one was.
It's okay. It's okay. Evan, let it rip, dude. It's okay. It's okay, bro.
No, I can't, dude.
I get abused. I get abused in PTG literally year round. The Discord just abuses me 24/7. Tyler's their favorite child, and I'm the not favorite child. And it is what it is. This is what it is.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I'm a good cook. That's a good friend. He was trying.
Yeah. Marcelo doesn't have any rhythm. That's one thing that I will say.
Yes, I do, bro.
Oh my gosh. Now I didn't know we were allowed to lie on this thing, but
there we go. That was the one. That was the one.
Where's your proof? Where's your proof? What evidence do you have? When have you ever seen my rhythm?
I'm sure I have it somewhere.
Now that you're going to be in the Discord, you can post videos too, you know? Like we can see, we can find some stuff.
I think you guys should challenge Marcelo to, like, I don't know, do something. Tap in time or do something. I don't know.
Some kind of dance off.
Yeah, something.
Fuck, I've gotten better, dude. I've gotten
with
better.
The stars? I don't know.
I've gotten better. I've gotten better. You know, look, I always ask for instruction, and you're such a bad teacher that I never got any rhythm.
So now you're going the stab route. I see.
I'm just saying, bro. If you could have just like explained it to me a little bit better, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation.
Well, I mean, you can't see sounds and color and like waves and stuff, so it's just he's on a different wavelength.
Oh, I do. It depends on. Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
I've seen sounds and color.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Probably at the shows.
I promise you.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Man, what a great question. I love it, Texas Steve. Yeah, that's good. All right, this one's a good one too from Nick Hool. I believe this is Nick N. Hool. It's awesome hearing from a musician. I've been jamming on the guitar for over a decade, creating songs, riffs, and whatnot. Aside from a handful of open mics, I've never got into the scene. I like to drift off into some chords, twists, and solos for a few hours every so often. Question is, I'd like to share some music I've made with the world. What's a safe way to get it out there? Here's a demo recorded with my phone on my laptop. I'm going to play it if you don't mind, and then we can critique. It's about a minute and 20. Let me know if you guys hear it. I think this should play. Give me a thumbs up. Oh,
It's not playing.
Oh, it's not playing. Okay,
Nope.
why is it not playing through Discord? That should be playing through Discord.
For all the Discord members, it's in there in the guest questions thread.
Hold on. No, I'm going to get this to play. There's no reason this shouldn't play through Discord.
There we go.
There's
What a boost.
No reason.
Let's
no
go.
reason it shouldn't. Give me 1 second. I'll do this. I got it. I got it.
So he obviously is okay with us blasting this through the airwaves.
That's what he wanted. That's what he asked. That's what he asked. Yeah. Okay, so this should work then.
Send it.
I hope this is like real. I hope this is like this could be like really funny.
Do we hear it?
Yeah. Yeah, Nick. Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I loved it.
That's great.
I loved it.
Yeah. Had like a reminiscent vibe, you know, like a trot in the hard road kind of vibe or something like that. That's what I got from. I think a really cool way that you could showcase this is by pairing it with some sort of like visual of whatever that is, you know, some kind of like video or something that you could sync with it, you know. And if, because it's nerve-wracking to get in front of people, right? And if you need to like warm up to that, maybe the confidence comes from the feedback that you get from doing something like that first, where you're kind of using the side move to plug them in, you know. But if you're trying to get in front of people, I think that it would be beneficial to like let people know what your goal is with the music that you're showing them, you know, because it's art, right? So it's like, if it's not structured, then people should know that, you know. If it is structured, then you don't have to explain that, because it's in a way, it's formatted in a way where people are anticipating what's coming next, kind of thing. And so there's like a formula to how the songs and music is put together. So I think like the intention of what you want to do with it is something that you should think about first, and then figuring out how your music will connect with those people based off of, you know, what kind of response you want from them too. So yeah, I mean, I think that's the feedback that I have.
Love that.
Amazing.
Such a thoughtful answer. And man, you're so right. And I was thinking about this too, like with the capabilities of AI, you technically don't have to really get in front of anybody. You could like create.
Wait a minute. Did you technically play that? No, just because now you keep it like, AI, play me a song that sounds like this, and you know the thing will
yeah.
You know?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially.
Not discrediting you. I know that sounded live. So
no, it's like there's
It's a
so
real
much
deal.
capability to where you could create a character that plays music that is like a you know, a cast of you, and you build the music, and then you could have this character like play it and like become famous essentially, right?
Marshmallow.
Yeah, there you go. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like even like digital creative, like digital artists, like there's gonna be digital artists in the future that won't even be human. It'll be this AI
Well, you,
character.
you heard about that. There's a AI Instagram model right now that's getting
Yeah.
paid like $30,000 a month, but she's completely AI. It's fake. And
Mhm.
she's like making videos about products and getting endorsement deals. You guys
Yep.
heard about this?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's insane.
it's like, I don't know, where are we headed, you know?
And it's not good. I don't like that. I definitely
That
don't like that.
But I guarantee you, as we move into the future, we will see that become more of a thing. There will be like these digital creatives that'll be mastermind puppeted from behind the scenes and like be like exactly what your eyeballs want to see and exactly what your ears want to hear and be
I'm not
this
here
like,
for that, bro. That's when we're going to the islands. We're moving to the islands and we're done, dude. That's too much. I can't do it. I won't do that. I will not live in a society that's like that. I promise.
oh man. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
is pretty
crazy.
wild.
It's scary.
Well, it's something. It's something. I'll say that for sure. Evan, you are a rock star, man, and we cannot thank you enough for taking the time to chat with us and share your vision on everything. And we are excited to support you on your journey with all your projects through the roots. And please be sure to like tag us in anything so that we can continue this journey. Before we let you go, I want to just ask you one last question on this journey that you've been on through music and just life. I'm sure you've been given some pretty good advice or you've picked up some pretty good advice. So what would be like the best advice you could leave the listeners with and that you've been given or learned?
Hmm. There's a lot. I think for me is just like, just like just be thankful for everything, like all aspects of what you're doing, it's something that I'm starting to learn, and it's more of like a something that's taught over the years from just the experience, but like taking the time to be grateful for the opportunities, the good ones, the bad ones. Like you learn so much, it makes you better as a person. Like be thankful for the people that come your way, are a part of your process, and what you learn from those people. There's been a lot of people that have come and gone in our camp, and from those people, each person, I've learned something very profound from each one of those experiences, and in relationships, and that have taught me things that help me in my relationships moving forward. So yeah, just that, be thankful for those hardships, that teach you the lessons as well, and just try to just soak up as much as you can. For me, that's really, this far along, is something that I think is very valuable.
So true, man. Absolutely. Attitude of gratitude will take you the distance for sure.
Yeah, man. Really quick, if you don't mind, I'm gonna read something before we go, because that reminded me of a quote from Alan Watts that I love, or a story, I should say, and it's about this Chinese farmer. And it's, once upon a time, there was a Chinese farmer whose horse ran away. That evening, all of his neighbors came around to commiserate. They said, "We are so sorry to hear your horse has run away. This is the most unfortunate event." And the farmer said, "Maybe." The next day, the horse came back, bringing 7 wild horses with it. And in the evening, everybody came back and said, "Oh, isn't that lucky? What a great turn of events. You now have 8 horses." And the farmer again said, "Maybe." The following day, his son tried to break one of the horses. And while riding it, he was thrown and broke his leg. The neighbor then said, "Oh dear, that's too bad." And the farmer responded, "Maybe." The next day, the conscription officers came around to conscript people into the army, and they rejected his son because he had a broken leg. Again, all the neighbors came around and said, "Isn't that great?" Again, he said, "Maybe." The whole process of nature is an integrated process of immense complexity, and it's really impossible to tell whether anything that happens in it is good or bad, because you never know what will be the consequence of the misfortune, or you never will know what will be the consequence of good fortune. And that is so fucking powerful, because it is so true. You never know if something that happens to you, good or bad, what it's going to lead to. And having that open mind and the belief, more importantly, that you're going to be able to navigate it the right way and make the best of it is truly, when we talk about optimism and what happiness is, being an optimistic person, in my opinion, it's not being happy all the time. It's knowing that things are going to eventually be right.
Mhm.
Even when you're unhappy, it's the confidence in knowing that this bad thing could have happened, but it's going to turn out the way I need it to turn out or the way that I want it to. It's the confidence in that. And that little story there from Alan Watts, I think is phenomenal.
Yeah, that's
Because
great.
it's so true too. It's like the ripple effect,
Mhm.
maybe it's good. I don't know. Oh, you won the lottery. So good for you. Maybe. Then you get stabbed the next day because someone's trying to rob you,
Yeah.
like who knows? Who knows? Again, you break your leg and then all of a sudden we're in World War III and they say, oh, no, you don't have to go, whoa, is that good or bad? I don't know. But the point is really potent in my opinion. And you kind of, you touched on that right there, Evan.
Yeah, I love that.
Thanks for sharing that, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, certainly. Ev, you're the man, dude. Love you.
You're the man.
It's
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, it's holiday season. Hope we could hang out soon. We
go.
talked about going to Coronado. If we can't tomorrow, I'll see if Sohar can get off Friday. That'd be awesome if you have some extra tickets. Sweet.
Yeah. Oh, let's go. Yeah.
Cool. All right.
And then before we let you go, plug your
the socials.
Instagram. Yeah, let's get your socials rolling so they can make sure that they follow you after the show.
Awesome. For all the Instagrammers, just check us out at Through the Roots. We're at Through the Roots on Twitter, pretty much everywhere. We have throughtheRoots.com. We have throughtheRootsmerch.com. We have a bunch of cool merch that we have a holiday sale going on too. So if you guys are interested in supporting the band and looking forward to coming to check us out and you want some dope gear to wear, go take advantage of the sale that's going on right now.
Support.
And thank you guys so much for having me. And
of course, bro.
Marcelo, thank you, man. I'm proud of you, everything that you've done. This has been really dope to be a part of and to watch. And it's great, man. So thank you.
Dude, keep pumping those funky tunes. Keep making it.
Keep pumping them, dude.
You guys, the paintball soundtracks,
Yes.
Let's go. Let's go.
Hell yeah, man. All right. Well, hey, you have a happy holidays and much love to you. And nice to meet you. Much love to all your loved ones. You guys be safe out there.
Happy holidays, man. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Peace, guys. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the show. As always, if you would like to support, please head over to ptgpaintball.com. Click the orange Patreon link in the top corner. And if you would like to support, just sign up at any level and you'll get access to the Discord. It's an amazing way to get integrated with the community, ask guest questions, become part of the show, and become part of the amazing PTG community. We can't thank you guys enough. Thank you so much, PTG fam, for always asking the greatest questions. You make our guests have a great time, and you make the show so much better. We appreciate you guys tremendously. And as always, we will see you very soon.